And we are recording the 7th episode of Fireside Chat this month. Today's topic, we're going to be talking about what makes movies good. What makes a movie a favorite movie? Like, if you have like a comfort movie or a favorite movie, what makes it that kind of a film for you? Because we've seen a lot of crap coming out recently that's not good. And future prospects are all but, I'm not really sure where I'd put future prospects at this point. There's some I'm looking forward to, some I'm not. But today we have 5 people in the group today. So we have Red as always.
Yo, what's going on?
We have Vatlaaw.
Hello, hello.
We've got Ronan the Crusader.
Hello, hello, everybody.
And we've got Booming Bob.
Hello.
And we'll see if anyone else pops in. This might be a long one, might be a short one. I have no idea. But let's go ahead and start off with, what is your probably everyone's top movie? Like, if you're put at gunpoint and said, name a movie that you love, which one would it be?
Oh, shit.
Bang, you're dead.
I'll go.
It looks like none of us are making it out of here alive.
Well, no, I could start with this, and it's kind of an older one, but of the people here, I don't think I'm the oldest, but I'm close to it. Early 1980s movie called The Blues Brothers.
Oh,
Yes.
geez, hell yeah.
Okay,
one.
all right, yeah, that's
Yeah,
a good one.
fundamental.
But honestly, depending on who you ask, it may not exist because, there was a very diverse cast. It crossed genres between, comedy, drama, bit of action, and a bit of musical.
Would it really be called The Blues Brothers if it wasn't musical in some way?
Well, yeah, but this one was about a band performing, which they did perform in the movie.
Hell yeah.
2 men on a mission.
Very famous car chases. Literally went after Nazis and defeated them.
I've always loved you.
Save an orphanage.
But it was one of the movies I watched at an early age, and it was with myself and one of my older sisters, and she's actually managed to meet Dan Aykroyd and tell him this. We actually wore out and destroyed a VCR, rewinding and rewatching the movie so many times.
Nice.
It's probably seen it triple-digit amount of times, but it's not like I was counting, so I can't really confirm that one way or the other. But starring Dan Aykroyd, John Belushi, not to be confused with Jim Belushi. This was John, obviously, who is no longer with us, who died relatively immediately after that, possibly related to illegal narcotics, which we will not mention further. But impeccable writing, impeccable directing, ridiculously good casting. A lot of it directly from Saturday Night Live, which was what he was working on when the concept was developed.
All right. Anyone else?
Yeah, sure. I was actually going to throw out Godzilla -1 for a second there, especially considering we were just talking about it on the pre-show. But actually, after some careful consideration, I've decided I'm not going to do Godzilla -1, but instead, it is still a Godzilla movie, Godzilla 2000. Because now that I actually think back at it, not only was it the first true Godzilla movie that I watched, that really, because before then I was growing up
Yeah, that was the
watching the
beginning
Matthew
of
Broderick
the
movie.
Heisei series, I think, right?
No, that one's the beginning of the Millennium series,
Right.
which is like all the films that came out in the early 2000s. But I was growing up initially watching the Matthew Broderick Godzilla, which at this point now you can either call him Zilla or Gino, Godzilla in
most
name
people
only,
call
whatever
him
you want
Zilla,
to call him,
but a lot of
because
people call him Gino. Godzilla
Exactly.
in name only.
exactly. So you call him either one because technically it really isn't Godzilla. But when I started watching Godzilla 2000, which introduced me to the actual Godzilla and everything, I was hooked, sold immediately. I wanted to go back and watch all the other ones, like from the Heisei series all the way back to like the Showa series and like the original 1954 one. And I even got so mesmerized by the effects, like how they still were using suits at the time, how they made all the miniatures, everything. I was so sold on it. I think I would actually go so far as to say that Godzilla 2000 is probably the movie that first got me really interested in movies as like a as like production and projects go, essentially.
Nice.
Oh.
The
I
art of making
remember
movies.
Godzilla Destroy All Monsters came out shortly after that on the
The
GameCube,
video game, yep.
and Orga was actually a secret unlockable character.
Yes, yes, he was. It was, oh man, it was so cool playing that game as well.
Anyone else?
I think, I guess I'll go. I
ahead.
was thinking, and I can't think of anything other than the Harry Potter ones.
They're pretty good.
Nice. So like all 8 of them, or is
If
there a
I-
particular one you
If
like?
I had to choose one, it would oddly be the last one.
Why would
Oh,
that be
Deathly
odd?
Hallows. Okay.
I mean, it was the first one I watched, oddly enough, but it's also the most
Oh.
painful one as well.
Yeah, it definitely has the biggest emotion out of all of them.
Yeah,
I mean, it's the one that you're saying goodbye.
yeah.
So there's kind of that whole thing.
And then there's the new TV show, which I'm not gonna get into today.
That whole thing's kind of a wreck.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't call the whole thing a wreck, but there is
Just one
like,
specific
one very
actor choice.
specific wreck.
Yeah,
Yes. And one that
that makes the least amount of
Compl-
sense
it completely changes the character. Let's just say that.
on fundamental levels. Yeah.
Yes, fundamentally changes.
How about you, Red? What do you
so-
got?
Oh shit, dude. It's like it's so hard for me to say because I like so many different movies for so many different reasons. So like I'll probably just go with like the most recent favorite of mine, which was something that I just it was kind of weird for me. So I watched There Will Be Blood, and the first time I saw that, and the only other time I've seen it was when it came out, and I was 17 when it came out, and now I'm double that age. I'm 34 now, and it's a completely different experience watching something and those are the only 2 times I've seen it. And I loved it so much. It was a completely different, like my memory of it when I saw it in the theater was I was like, man, that was a really long movie and really dark, and I didn't quite understand all of it, and I just remember being like kind of confused by some things, and I liked some other things about it. But like watching it as a much older person now, like a full adult, I was transfixed by it. I love the cinematography of it. The character acting, I mean, you're talking about Daniel Day-Lewis. I mean, he was transformative in that movie, and apparently, like he and the director like had done other stuff, but I really, really, really liked his role in that. And I mean, other than just there was one weird part for me, which was getting hit by. Have you ever had something transformed by a meme, and then you watch it again in a movie, and you're like, "Fuck!" And it was the "I abandoned my child," like when he's like declaring this in a church, and it's like a very powerful scene, and then like all of a sudden, like I got hit by all the memes of him going, "I abandoned my child" and shit, and then so like that ruined a little part of it, but. I loved it for a lot of different reasons. I basically define what a really good film is that it makes you feel something. Like it doesn't have to be like the greatest thing ever, but like what defines for me like what is a good film is did it make you feel something? Like if it's horror, did it like were you? It's not necessarily scared, but were you creeped out? Like what was it? Like what was it going for? Sort of thing. And then
Did it
so
accomplish its
with
goal?
that. Yeah, so like that movie, like that was just like a character drama. You were watching somebody like transform over time and seeing these characters like I really like strongly written characters. So that movie was really fun for me. But to ask but like what is my favorite movie ever of all time? Dude, you're killing me. I don't know. I just watched Akira again the other day, and that's probably my favorite animated movie ever. Like
Nice.
that movie is Akira is so good. Jeez, oh my gosh! If you don't watch it for a little bit and then you go back to it, I was just like again. That was the first probably like anime movie that I actually truly enjoyed. Like I wasn't really into anime when I was younger, and then I was shown that by a friend. I was like, "This is the shit I'm talking about." If you got more movies like this, I'll fucking watch any of them. Like,
that how you
Akira
got
is
into
fantastic.
Neon Genesis Evangelion?
Yes, exact same person who
pretty
gave
much the
Akira
same
was
thing.
like, it was like, I understand your taste now more, and then so he showed me that, and now I'm a lifelong fan of that. I have all those movies on Blu-ray too. But anyway, I'll pontificate for forever about movies, so somebody else should take that.
I'll say this: if anyone listening, if you're never seen Akira and you're getting into it, just know that you're going to be in for a ride.
You are
Oh
going
my
to
God,
be
it's
confused
so
and
good.
amazed at the same time.
It's
Quite
so
a
good.
wild ride, and probably one of the best, not the best, but one of the best, because there's obviously another really good one, but one of the best examples of anime cyberpunk aesthetics. Hell, I
I
think
guess
it's
the
the
other
film
is
that probably
probably Ghost
sets
in
the
the Shell.
precedent for it. Yes, the other
dude,
is
it
clearly
takes
Ghost
place
in the Shell.
in the future, and in the future is 2019. Oh my gosh, it's so good.
We're a couple years past that now.
We're passing all the dystopian sci-fi level years now.
What are we, 10 years out from Back to the Future Part 2 now? And
I
like
think
we
we
have
already
still yet
passed
to
it,
get our,
didn't
our
Well,
fucking
plus 10
like,
years now is what he
Where
means.
we
But
just-
yes,
plus
we
10
are.
years, there you go.
Where's
We
the
are
flying
like
cars?
where's the hoverboards? I thought we were
I
getting
mean,
hoverboards.
technically we had
not these,
hoverboards,
like-
but they were little crappy
come
pieces
on.
of plastic with wheels that
Yeah,
got caught
no, I
on
was
fire
gonna
by
say,
charging them.
Yeah, that's what
Yeah,
we're gonna
it-
call hoverboards. Those
Yeah,
pathetic
instead of
excuses.
hoverboards, we have microplastics now.
Yeah.
Worst trade ever.
We didn't even get the fun Batman vs Superman from that film.
Oh.
But
Yeah.
no,
Where's
a
Jaws
slightly more
15?
a slightly more camp reference. The Double Dragon movie was set in the dystopian year of 2005. LA had
Oh
flooded.
God, man!
Wasn't The Matrix supposed to be like early 2000s as well?
Matrix, I believe,
Like
they,
the world ended
I
in like
believe-
1999 or something, and everything in the future was
Yes.
supposed to be like early 2000s.
When
Well, I
Smith
mean-
described it, he described it as the peak of human
human
civilization,
civilization,
in
yes.
that there had been 5 different Neos throughout. So nobody really knows how long that would take generationally.
5 iterations of the Matrix is what. Well, not just Smith,
Yeah.
but the architect described it as well too. This,
Yes.
like the first one was a complete paradise. Humans didn't fall for it, so they just killed each
Yeah.
other.
Yeah.
And then that's when they started putting more conflict into it. But yeah,
Wait.
Yeah, it's how you know something is an absolute simulation. It's like, this is just too good.
Okay, I got a quick question. Would you say that is the greatest trilogy ever directed by 2 women? Oh wait, no, they were dudes at the time.
They were dudes at the time, but
That is the greatest sci-fi trilogy by women I have ever seen in my entire life.
I will.
And then they made
Hold
Jupiter
and reserve-
Ascending.
I will hold and reserve judgment because a lot of us in here know the Saska sisters, and I am not going to piss them off.
for some
And
reason,
they-
$1 billion at the
There's no
South, because
great
they might
female
even make a
directors.
better sci-fi trilogy, if
I'm
anything.
going to plead the fifth on that question.
Sorry, I'm a pain in the ass.
Maybe, but it was funny.
Oh man.
And I'm gonna guess most people could probably guess one of my favorites. And surprisingly
yeah.
enough, it is not
Watership
Zootopia.
Down.
Well, we could, but none of us were going to.
Well, it's not Zootopia. The original Disney's Robin Hood, the animated movie,
Oh.
is probably what got me
okay.
into being a furry in the first place.
So you subverted
Oh,
our
God.
expectations by not subverting our expectations. Got it.
Yeah.
Just
Just the animation style and the story really got me going with that one.
Made
And I'm not gonna lie, it made Marion's a babe. And then
That-
probably, I wouldn't say Lola Bunny cemented it. I'd say more Crystal from Star Fox cemented it.
No, before we move on from that Robin Hood, have you seen the couch meme, so to speak, with the 5 guards and Robin Hood?
Yes.
That
I
didn't
have.
exist then, but perfectly translated.
Oh, it is beyond perfectly translated. And well before its time.
Like, even the look on his face.
It's perfect. It just works so well. It's like, you know that at that time they did not intend that. It just evolved into its own meme.
Now, just wait. In about 4 decades, this thing is going to do gangbusters. This one frame.
It wouldn't surprise me. You know, Walt's frozen head is in the vault just going, I knew this was going to happen. I knew it.
I predicted the future. I had this is all according to plan.
First, make a lot of furries. Second, make them pay a lot of money for my movies.
If Walt's fridge is still in the Disney bunker and whatnot, if his head is still fridged in there, we really need to break in and put his head on a body that'll actually make him living again, just so I can ask him the question, what the hell is the matter with you that you would make these movies? What's wrong with you?
To be fair,
no.
he
Run
did
to
do
our
2 World
generation.
Wars.
You're going to have to ask him very quick, because the first thing he's probably going to do is to, what's the proper term? Unalive a certain Iger.
Yeah.
Minecraft or someone.
Follow him probably by a certain
His first question upon
KK.
getting full
Look,
consciousness again is going to be, what the fuck did you do to my company?
Vatlaaw, you're just suggesting even more that we should try and put a body onto Walt's head. You're just suggesting it to me more.
I made no such suggestion, but I mean, if it happens, it happens.
If someone so happens as does this, it's beyond my control.
Oh,
I'm not
God.
the first to suggest it, but if it happens, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
I mean,
Actually,
even now, it's like, what did I say on Daily a couple days ago? Oh, with how much crap is going on at Disney, Walt's corpse is spinning so fast, you could power the entire park on it alone.
I think you're underselling it. You could probably power California and Florida on it.
True.
Yeah.
Actually, it's interesting you
They
bring
might
them
be
up
using
now
his-
because the whole topic that we're discussing, which is what makes a good film. I guess the first thing we can do by starting off is what makes a film terrible. What are the steps that you would take to avoid making a bad film, so that way you can actually go towards making
Attacking
a good
your
film?
audience.
Having
Yeah,
a
that's-
bad
Whether in the
script.
media or anything surrounding the media. Like, if you look at, like, the last Charlie's Angels movie that had Sir Patrick Stewart as Charlie, and they turned him
Okay,
into an
that's
idiot.
Was that the one where like it's not for white men, and in the movie field they're like, why
Yes.
aren't white men watching our movie?
That's one of them,
that's
yes.
the one
One
where
of
the
many.
headline goes from
Oh my
the
god.
headline goes
Ghostbusters
from
2016
sorry
also
man,
did
but
that.
this isn't for you.
Yeah, that's true.
I was
And the next thing
actually
you know-
going to bring that up because Ghostbusters 2016 seemed to be a watershed moment, and like that, they were I want to say they were the first movie to come out and as a movie from the official movie Twitter account endorse Hillary, and like completely just say nope, we're completely wedging our wagons politically, and we don't care about alienating up to half the audience.
Yeah.
And
I'd say they were probably one of the first to do that.
I was actually going to bring up like there needed to be a certain cohesion on set to make a good movie, but I immediately proved that argument wrong with that movie in particular, and then I'm supposing
well, it still needs to be a good
all
cohesion
four.
on set. I mean, you can
Well,
tell,
no,
like in the movie, how well the actors got along with each other based on how well they do their portrayals.
Actually, I was going to argue the opposite of that could also be true, because if all 4 of us, well, 5 of us, are familiar with Drinker's Production Hell, one of the greatest movies of all time that I consider it, and you all may agree, you may disagree, but Raiders of the Lost Ark was Production Hell. One of the most replayed scenes, we'll call it. The sword scene with the pistol.
Oh yes,
Syria?
no.
It was literally not in the original script. He was supposed to actually fight him, but he had the
had
runs.
dysentery, had terrible runs.
Yeah.
And so when this guy who was actually training for this whole scene, training with the sword so that way they could do a proper sword fight, and what does Harrison do? He just pulls out his revolver, pop.
And it ended up being one of the most iconic scenes of all time.
Yeah,
But
Like,
now
you-
with the
you-
like
power of
definition
AI,
subverting
we
the
will
audience
have him fight.
expectation.
Yeah, you literally come across someone who doesn't know that scene off the description alone. And that movie, like, they may have got along cohesive as a unit, but, like, there was dysentery. There was production hell in that one.
Yeah, there
And
was definitely
Ghostbusters
things going on.
2016, notable, not good movie. Apparently, they had all the fun in the world making that.
Yeah, but you could also say that about Mel Brooks films too. I mean, most of the people in that definitely were
Fair.
having a lot of fun.
So, well, I was
I mean, you
thinking,
can't
well,
tell
that's
me
gotta be
Gene
good.
Wilder wasn't having a hell of a time.
Did you
I-
say
I just-
On a set of Blazing Saddles, I only
Not
imagine.
just on
In the
Blazing Saddles, but
70s?
also in Young
Oh
Frankenstein.
my!
Oh, man.
any of his movies because they were made in the 70s and were completely different time culturally? Like the kind of jokes that you could get away with and stuff like that was just
Well, I mean, they,
I
like,
didn't-
all
did
that they
anyone
were.
see History of the World Part 2 when that came around? Did anyone actually see that?
I heard it
They
was.
actually
It
make
was
it good.
it was episodic and not movies, and it wasn't all directed by Mel Brooks. I saw a few of them. A few of them were pretty good, but nothing near like classic Mel Brooks.
Yeah, so definitely the definition of could not be made today.
were there
Yeah.
Jews in space is my question. Like they promised at the end of part one.
If there were, I did not get to it.
Damn it.
Well,
That's all I
mean, look,
wanted to know.
A certain congresswoman.
Well, I mean, according to X, it's supposed to be Jewish space lasers,
particular.
so-
Yes. Marjorie Taylor Greene
Also,
suggested
I don't
Jewish
think
space
there
lasers.
was. I don't think there was a Hilter. We'll call him Hilter on ice.
I forgot about that one. That's awesome. It's a classic. It's been a minute since I've seen those, dude. Mel Brooks movies are fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
I was
the
thinking that was
producers?
the producers.
Oh my gosh. All
I
those
was thinking
movies
that was
are
the,
hilarious.
like part of the producers. I didn't think that was part of History of the World.
No, I
man.
thought that was at the end of it, but I'm not certain of it. It may have been the producers.
I think they did both. They did
Arguably still is.
Hitler in Springtime and the producers, and on
Oh,
Ice
Springtime
is,
for Hitler?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
Springtime for Hitler.
they did,
I tried
Nazis
to
on
like
Ice.
censor it.
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
dude.
Yep.
Yeah, the name
Hilter.
is
You just
fine.
swap the L and the T. Hilter. We'll get it.
You can't help but just bring forth that name. I mean, Godwin's law reigns supreme every single time in an online discussion. It's
Yeah.
gonna happen sooner or later.
Even if it's in a
Just
funny way.
Yes.
Just wait for the R34 Fireside Chat coming to you never.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure any Fireside Chat we ever do could be considered R34.
Oh no.
I mean, that's the very definition of it in the first place. And then there's its opposite, R63.
What the
No.
art?
That means out,
no,
that
no,
means
no.
out there's gender bent versions of us.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
We do
R34
not
is
need to
there's
get into
adult
the internet
content of
rules.
it, and R63 is there's gender bent adult content of it.
I just hope. I
Go ahead, Rod.
I just hope to God if it happens, just make me attractive somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Yeah, I like the way you think. Fine.
These are
If you're going
eventualities.
to
That's
do it,
just
at
that
least
reality.
make me look good.
So, exact. Maybe I might be attracted to furries if somehow it happens.
If somebody's watching me through my
Tobias, it
webcam,
actually looks good. We'll see.
I'm gonna give him a show.
Well, the problem is this already happened, and there's already AI programs out there designed to do this.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
God, yes.
If you'll remember, it's been a few months they did it to FNT, and people saw Gary in a different light. I'll just word it like that.
no.
And there was the full use of the Team America quote that he hates so much.
Oh,
Was it the Bon Jovi song?
No, the SMD Gary.
oh no.
If not Ebola, we'll get to it after the stream.
All right.
Speaking
So
of
I think
AI, there was a whole thing that like AI script movies. Was that going to be a thing at some point? People were kind of worried about that. And that's another thing that makes a good movie is the script. Like you can't have a terrible script. You have to have something good. Like you have to have a
think-
script that is good or a script that is so bad it's good.
I think that now, regardless of how, even if they're going to have things that can detect if you used AI in your stuff, by the time that rolls around and they're actually doing that to suss these out in these scripts, you're going to have these all done by college students who passed college using AI to do
Using
all their college
ChatGPT.
work, who have no actual real world experience, don't travel, don't have any kind of interesting point of view, don't do anything. It's the people who used to make movies and stuff like that. I mean, just on a whole sidebar here about what makes a movie great. What makes a movie great, or one of the things that makes a movie great, in my opinion, is that the people who make them actually want to fucking make the movie. Like they have a vision
Hell
in their
yeah.
head, and then they go and they make
Well, that's
the
how
thing
Sam
that they
Raimi
want to
did
make.
the first Evil Dead, right? I mean, it was literally like just a guy out there with his friends with a camera and tons of fake blood
Passion
making
project.
movies and having fun.
Mm-hmm. Watch any early Christopher Nolan movie before he started doing big budget stuff, and you can see all the motifs that are in his later movies that everybody's like, "Wow, this is fantastic." It's like, yeah, dude, he did it in a black and white college film. Like, there's certain directors so I tend to follow like really talented actors or really talented directors, and that's kind of how I suss out movies and stuff like that, and going back in time. And it's also like I love watching movies from different time periods because, dude, just like the stuff that they show in movies from the 70s, like what the hell is the name of that movie? I was watching this Clint Eastwood movie, and he literally R words this chick right off of the street because she bumps into him and then gets mouthy, and he's like, "Oh, I know what this chick wants." Does this? She comes back later and tries to shoot him with a pistol, and he's taking a bath with his cigar, and then he dives under the in the bathwater, and then these people just start slapping the shit out of this chick, and then she's like, he assaulted me, blah blah blah, and they're like, dude, get the fuck out of here, and then they just toss her outside, and then he comes back up out of the water, still cigar in mouth, and it's played for laughs, and it's just like, whoa. Like it didn't bother me at all. I got what the movie was going for. It's a fantastic movie, by the way. But like that kind of scene is just not something that you would see now. And if you're only used to watching movies that have been made in like the last 5 or 10 years, it's a trip, dude. Go back and watch some movies from the 70s or the 60s and just see how they do some stuff. How they handle
watch stuff from the
character work,
90s.
dialogue. Oh yeah, well, I mean, I'm not just saying for like true, like for evocative or shocking stuff. Just
there's just
like
a
film.
complete culture difference between like any movie then and I'd say around 2000 is probably when the shift occurred.
Yeah,
Probably 15 or 14.
Film has been around for a long time, and then so like any art that's been around, there's lots of you can see when there's certain changes and stuff like that. Like when they stop
one of the
making
very
movies
first
with
movies
that.
was literally about old guys going into a rocket ship and going up to the moon, and then the moon having a face and they land in its eye.
Yeah,
I mean-
Georges Méliès's A Trip to the Moon. That's one.
Yeah, that's one of the very first fully like moving movies.
But
Yeah,
no,
and wasn't
to shout out Red real quick. To shout out Beardo real quick. Was it the outlaw Jose Wales?
Oh yeah. I don't
Wales,
think
but shout out Beardo for the meme.
I'm trying to remember. I think it's the movie where he paints the town. He makes them paint the town red. I'm trying to remember what movie that is because
I don't think it was that one, but that's immediately what came to mind when you brought up the Clint Eastwood movies because he butchered
dude.
that one badly.
Oh, dude. The outlaw Jose Wales. Jose.
To be fair, it didn't look like it.
Dude, that's
I will say,
like,
you
the
guys just
older
reminded me of an
movie-
old Red Skelton skit. If anyone
the
knows
older
the
movies-
comedian Red Skelton.
You were talking about landing on the moon, and like somehow the moon still has Earth's gravity, and they land on top of it because they'll fall off back to Earth. Just how little we understood about the universe when we were making movies in the early 50s.
Oh, it was earlier than that. Actually, let me see. Because I remember watching it in one of my photography classes, because I have a major in photography.
They
For
also
all the
even
good
made
that did me in the long run.
They also even made a movie that's kind of loosely brings up that first ever big production. It was a Hugo, if I remember correctly. That was directed by Martin Scorsese.
Mm-hmm. The kid who lives in the clock
1902.
tower.
Oh yeah.
1902 is when A Trip to the Moon first was made.
Mm.
Yep.
It was 14 minutes long.
Here, let me look up one because it's not that long after that. I mean, we can all say like a super big budget movie that came from like not too long after that is The Wizard of Oz, which came out in the 30s. But there's great movies
Oh, yeah.
from
And almost killed like half the cast.
yeah, like it's
oh yeah, with just the paint alone.
Oh yeah, that story
For a
was
lot of
insane. The woman who played the Wicked Witch, because of one of the explosion effects when she was disappearing under the stage. It apparently caught her on fire, and they couldn't put her out because of the damage it was doing to her skin, because the paint was made with copper.
Jesus.
It could have made it lead.
What didn't they also have the actress playing Dorothy hitting up some Bolivian marching powder during?
Judy Garland.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Judy Garland doing that, and the whole snow actually being asbestos, and the cast just jumping around in that.
Yeah, that was
and the Tin Man literally passing out twice because of the paint wasn't allowing him to breathe.
So when
Hollywood, baby,
yeah, dude,
the situations have changed, but they're still bad.
Yeah, dude.
It's
so
Hollywood,
the Wizard of
baby.
Oz. Yeah. So the Wizard of Oz came out in 1939, and Gone with the Wind also came out in 1930. Like, and that's
another big budget
4-hour
film
movie.
that came out that ended up essentially stealing all kinds of awards at the Oscars, and it's obviously to this day still a cultural mark in American history, American film history specifically. That's another big film as well.
Oh, definitely.
But this all actually kind of reminds me of a quote from Lloyd Kaufman, who's like one of the big masters of schlock, like the dude that helped create Troma and all that stuff. I remember that this guy essentially, he's real passionate about film. He loves making film. Doesn't matter like whether it's Citizen Kane level content or something as insane as just The Toxic Avenger, which he helped make. But like he always talks to like young aspiring people, and he tells them go out there and make your own damn films. And hell, he even has a book that he literally titled like Make Your Own Damn Film, that talks about the filmmaking process and trying to get out there and trying to like make your dreams come true, essentially. Which funny enough, just to tie it back to A Trip to the Moon, that's essentially how Georges Méliès saw it as well. He saw films as a way of visually creating dreams and making them a reality.
And now look at him.
Yep.
Took us over 100 years, but we finally nearly destroyed the film industry.
And we're not done destroying it yet. They're still going to be pumping out a lot of this over-bloated crap now.
High Plains Drifter. Thank you very much, sir. You are a gentleman. Sorry, not to interrupt you guys.
I was trying to do a bit of research for it related to it so we could get a title.
Yeah, so I'm sorry not to interrupt you guys. Go ahead. My bad.
Hey, at least we finally got the name.
It was High Plains Drifter, Clint Eastwood. I love all of his movies. That one's fantastic. I was just completely blindsided by that scene. Go ahead.
To be fair, the guy has how many years of filmography?
Dude, okay, so when my first kid was born, and I was waking up early with him, and I was feeding him with a bottle of breast milk and stuff so his mom could sleep, I would literally wake up every day, and I would watch a Clint Eastwood movie before I went to work, because I just had him and had to rock him, and I was just like, what am I going to do? I'm going to listen to a podcast, I'm going to do something. And then so I put on a new Clint Eastwood movie on every day. Went through almost his entire filmography, but yeah, I was struck by that one. I was like, damn, dude. Yeah, my mom was like, oh wait, you've never seen that one? That's such a good movie. And I was like, do you remember this scene in this movie? And then she was like, oh yeah, like I mean, that chick was a bitch, and she got just people from a different time period. She's born in 55, you know? It's just completely different. She grew up with Clint Eastwood movies. She was like, fuck yeah. And if
And
if
now
you
no
see
one's
what
going to
happens
question why
later,
your kid sounds like Clint Eastwood when he gets older.
oh yeah, and there's stuff that happens later with that character and him again in the movie and stuff like that and something. But it's just like, yeah, literally, she sees him, eyeballs him, from walks across the street, shoulder checks him, say, you know, you're not much of a man, and then he's just like, what? And then he's just like, you healthy, like, get some shit. And then she's just like, oh, well, you're just a pig, and blah blah blah. And then he's like, all right, here we go. He just throws her into a barn right off the side of the street, and then she's like, oh my word. And I was just like, dude, he like seriously just assaulted this chick, and then she comes back to murder him later. And I was just like, again, this isn't something that you would see in a movie nowadays. They wouldn't play a scene like that, especially for laughs, for like laughs, that people that be to be so bold as to think that an audience would be like, oh my god, look, dude, she tried to kill him, and then the guy slapped her, and then he went under the water, and then he came back out. Look, he still has his cigar. What a man, dude! Remember? It's like, no, dude, he's right.
That
Like,
was
he's not the good guy. Like, he's not a good guy.
Yep, that was one of the early prototypes for the anti-hero in movies.
Yeah.
Because that was something they were experimenting with, was this guy's not a good guy. Clearly not a good guy, but it's the protagonist of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it much better than most do now.
Yeah. A lot.
Well,
I
yeah.
think,
That's
I
true.
mean, a lot of people talk about like the huge change in I mean, we were talking about film, but as far as like TV, because you can go way further back in film, but I think a lot of people are way more familiar with this, like TV anti-heroes, like the Tony Sopranos or Walter
Spawn.
White's. Yeah, like there's now it's way bigger than it used to be, but audiences weren't really ready to check in with like anti-heroes. And then so there's some particular movies, like if you want to look back, like in the 70s westerns, The Wild Bunch, if you guys have never seen that, it's not like any of your typical westerns that were made in the same time period. I think that was like 68. It's intensely violent, like it's super violent, and they show blood. It's basically like a Tarantino movie back in those times, only, you know, it's not as fun with the dialogue, but it is extremely violent. It has a lot of big name characters, but all of them are bad guys. You're not watching cowboys that are like, you know, it's not white hats and black hats. How they used to handle a lot of those movies back then. It's not a John Wayne film where you're just like, okay, you know, it's this one guy taking on, you know, a bunch of rascals or whatever. No, this is, you're watching a team of criminals. The movie starts out with a bank robbery, right? And these guys go in dressed as army guys into a bank, start robbing it, and then the sheriffs and all the rest of these guys set up across the street on top of the roofs, but there's a parade going on in the middle of the street. It's like, do the white hat guys decide not to shoot because, you know, there could be crossfire? No. Like, they start letting loose as the second these guys start walking out. It's like Heat, only a Western version, and then people are just getting caught in the crossfire. And you're just like, whoa, you know, the second that you start watching this movie, you're like, is this from 1968? Like, this is completely different. So you can actually go back and find, and it was not treated very well, even though it had a lot of big name actors, because of its violence and stuff at the time. And now a lot of people would see this and they're like, oh yeah, well, dude, have you seen Django Unchained? This is nothing compared to this. But it's like, for its time and the time period, it's a completely different film, and it's one of my favorites ever. Like, it's so good, and it's way different. And you can tell that it was made then, especially when they do some practical things that you're just like, that's not something they would do. Like, run a train into a train car with a bunch of people in it. A bunch of them standing on horses, and they just do it for fucking real. You're like, dude, that could break that horse's leg or kill one of those guys. Or they did this for real. This is all fucking practical because they're making it in the 60s, and they're like, yeah, dude, just like, let's fucking go. We hire stuntmen. We're good. They put 4 dudes on horseback on a bridge and blow the fucking thing up. Just for real, and drop these guys into a fucking river. And you watch it all in real time. And you're just like, that's not something they would do today. And if they did it, it would be so fucking lame. But if you watch it now, you're like, this is one of the craziest things. Like, how many people died making this movie? It's almost like Milo and Otis numbers. look at some of
God.
those films. I mean, those are animals, of course. But yeah, the amount of people that got like hurt making
God, I
some
used
of
to
these.
love that movie too.
Yeah.
Like that's what makes the Road Warrior fucking rad. Because you're looking at this and you're like, okay, those are real cars. Like those are really doing those things. And I'm not even anti CGI or anything like that. Like, but if you see some of these things that these do for real, like it's like, holy shit, dude, that's rad. That's so cool. Like I didn't know that they did stuff like this. And it's like, hell yeah. Yes, they
CGI
did.
CGI definitely has its place in the film industry. I mean, you take a look at Jurassic Park. Jurassic Park was the one film that
Exactly.
essentially set the example and basically set the precedent for putting CGI into films. There's not a problem with it. Like
It's-
people, and
it's
like
how
when
you
you do
apply
it
it.
right, it looks perfect and it's almost indistinguishable from like anything else on screen. The issue
it's when
obviously
you,
lies is when you start over relying on it to the point that basically you're
modern superhero
watching a
movies.
cutscene. Yeah, you're basically watching a fucking cutscene of a video game.
Well, I'm not even anti CGI as far as like it needs to be like absolutely unrecognizable like photo quality or anything like that. Like what I would argue is when it becomes a placeholder when they're like, "Oh, we'll fix that in post" type filmmaking, which a lot of the film industry has become. Like it's like, "Okay, we don't really know or like have the time to do actual set dressing and actually like pay people to come in here and be like, okay, what would Dracula's castle actually look like on the inside? So then they just put a fucking green screen and then they're just like, yeah, we'll pay some CGI guys and they'll find some creepy shit and they'll put it in the back. And then it's okay, they'll put a blur effect on it anyway and it won't really matter. And it's like, and that's why all these things look exactly the fucking. And it's just like this very fast, awful way of making film, and it's vapid, and we can all tell
Lazy.
just by looking at it. Yeah,
I
lazy.
remember when the Universal films and the Hammer films, like just to talk about Dracula, what they would do when it comes to trying to show Dracula's castle, they would superimpose an actual model of the castle itself
Or they did
onto
like
the
a matte
shot.
painting kind of thing.
Or matte
matte
painting, like
painting?
just make it look
Oh.
artistic and stylistic. They would do
Oh,
something.
matte
You
that
really want a
makes
good
it
example
feel-
of that. Look at Star Wars, the original ones, and then look at the enhanced versions.
Yeah,
There would
matte
be
paintings and miniatures was one of the big
Yes.
things they got to. But before we
Oh,
get
man.
too far off CGI, the real problem right now is the quality of CGI has dipped. And part of it is due to the freaking deadlines that are unrealistic that are getting slammed down on. I don't necessarily blame the CGI artist. I mean, they're offering you money. You take the money. You get that bread when you can.
Job's
But
a job,
a lot
right?
of it's looking really bad due to the deadlines. And then you got
And
a
then they're
certain
underpaid.
director I don't want to mention right now who comes out and immediately slams the CGI in his own movie.
Oh, okay. I know. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
I don't
But,
think that there's any VFX house that's like, no, we like making shitty products. Like, I think that they do the
Oh, there's
best.
probably a
with what
couple,
they're
but that's because
given.
they can get away with
And
it.
then, well, yeah, I'm sure that there's a few bad
I
actors.
mean,
or
there's
whatever,
the
but, like,
Asylum, for example.
the vast-
It depends entirely on what it is you're trying to create. If you are trying to make
Yeah.
something that's so bad it's good levels of quality, I
The
suppose
Asylum.
I can see that. Yes, the Asylum is the perfect example for that.
But
Like, the
back
first
to where we were
Sharknado
going.
was funny. The second one was okay, and then it just kept going.
What is it?
Yeah.
They made 7 or 8
Go ahead,
films or something?
Sirius.
They made 6. They made
Go on,
6
Vatlaaw.
Sharknado films.
What are they? Well, first off, what are they? Police Academy?
Also true.
But
What are they, Final
where we
Destination?
were going, matte
God, there's
paintings
still
and
another one of those.
miniatures, and where
Right.
we started
Yes.
at as for
Matte
quality and to show scenes and to establish shots.
And well, I think that one of the things is that we're comparing things that okay, so everybody loves I would venture to say that most film lovers love the way, even if you don't love the original film, but like you love how the sets look and how the cinematography is on the original Alien movie. Even if you're like, this movie's a little slow, or I prefer the second one, James Cameron or whatever. Like, or even if you really, really like the newer movies. Like Alien Romulus. I really enjoyed it. There was, everything has its issues or whatever. But
It
if
had
you
the whole
really
ending
like,
issue.
yeah, but is it actually fair to compare? And it's like, for instance, that movie was made by a very talented guy who knew exactly what he wanted to do and had the capacity and the time to be able to make sets that look like that, and actually had enough time and authority where he could edit the movie to have his cut where there actually are, really drawn out tracking shots and just a lot of things that younger filmmakers, or like the ones that we would compare him to when they're making sci-fi films, like, is it necessarily fair and when the environmental conditions aren't the same, like 1970s, what's the name of the studio over there? I forget that they Ridley Scott and them make all their movies out of Pinewood Studios or whatever. They like, is that filmmaking environment, like, is it fair to compare? Like, maybe if you were comparing it, I think, to like Robert Donner making Superman in the 70s or whatever, like in America, but I don't think that it's necessarily fair to compare, because when it comes to CGI and using that as a tool, it's like it is the cheapest thing now. Like, it didn't used to be, and then so when it first came into implementation, like, there's only like 18 seconds of it in the original Jurassic Park or whatever. Like, very good use of it, and that comes down to like a really good director and a bunch of other factors. So I don't know. Like, I like CGI, and I like that there's certain movies that just could not even exist unless CGI was available, and they made it. But I just don't like it. Just like any other tool, it's like over reliance on that is lame. Like, it becomes lame as fuck. Like, especially when it comes to sci-fi movies. But there's some really fun sci-fi movies that you don't even need really like crazy VFX for. Like, there's some.
There
like,
is a really good example. If you look at the prequel to The Thing, the one that was made in 2011,
Oh,
watch what they call the pilot cut, and then watch the actual movie. Because the pilot cut, they wanted to do the same thing. They wanted to do everything practical. And they showed it.
Were they in the
The entire
process
thing
of
all the way
actually
up is
making
practical
most
film.
of the practical?
Yeah, from what I understand, they filmed a shitload of that movie practically.
Yeah, and then the studio came in and said, "No,
went,
fuck you, we're doing it CGI."
Yeah, which is just a terrible choice.
Yeah,
Well,
they were
they're like-
extremely careful about how they were making that film. Like, they wanted everything from that short part in the first one where McCready is going through the base. They're very carefully explaining how all of that happened.
Oh, dude,
And then the studio
would
comes
be-
in and says, "No, we're going to do it this way instead."
Of course.
We haven't even got into studio meddling yet.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. That is one
It's
of
something
the-
we can do, but before we wrap a bow on the CGI, I'm not going to crap on the Phantom Menace, but
That's pretty good.
one of the actors, at least, I'm blanking on the name from Obi-Wan.
Ian
Oh,
McGregor.
he
Ewan
described-
McGregor.
Yep, Ewan McGregor. Thank you very much. I knew someone would have my back here because it's still relevant because
Scottish
Obi-Wan
guy?
show recently.
Train spotting guy.
Yes, Scotty McScotland. But no, one of his chief criticisms, every scene in The Phantom Menace, every scene had some form of green screen. And his criticism was, you're trying to react as an actor to something that isn't there. So it's not like these tools are even helping actors, at least at the time, because they
Like,
were
look at like The
acting
Hobbit,
to
where you
stuff
have
that had not been rendered
what's
yet.
his name? Who played Ganon?
Oh,
Who played?
Ian McKellen. I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
Ian
Ian
McKellen.
McKellen.
Ian
When
McKellen
they were filming
sitting
The Hobbit,
alone
it was
in a
completely in a
green
green
screen room.
screen alone. He wasn't
Yeah,
with any
and
other
trying to have
actors.
a-
It was just him. And the dude actually broke down because that they put him in that scenario, because that they wanted to put him in that scene in that manner. There is something like how do I put it? There's something about practical effects, and again, we're not saying any of this to try and shit on CGI. We're not saying any of this to shit on people who work very hard on CGI. But there's something about practical effects, something about the tangibility of it, like the fact that you
It
could
feels more
potentially
real.
reach out and touch it. There's something about it that not only makes it feel more real, it feels as though you're actually right there alongside the actors, and you don't even see them as actors anymore. You feel like you're there alongside the characters in whatever scene, whatever adventure, whatever journey, or whatever struggle or conflict they're going through in that moment. So there's something about practical effects that feels so lifelike that it grabs audience attention a lot more than with CG. Again,
Right.
not to put down CG, because when you do it right and you're given time and the studio doesn't meddle like they always like to, CG comes out really well and it feels almost lifelike as well too. But
Oh, going
for
back
a keen
to
eye,
what Boom Bob said earlier about the Harry Potter movies. The second movie with the Basilisk, Daniel Radcliffe and a couple of the other actors, when they were talking about making that film, the way they made the Basilisk was originally just a tennis ball on a stick, and that's what the actors would focus on whenever they had to look at this thing. And they were laughing so hard because it was like we couldn't keep a straight face because we were supposed to be terrified of a tennis ball on a stick instead of this giant snake.
To be fair on Harry Potter, most of the stuff they had was practical and physically there, and most Harry Potter stuff was rare. I don't think there wasn't a lot of green screen, except when you.
Well, the magic stuff was
absolutely
obviously the green screen mix.
Yeah, that was maybe
I mean,
later.
Like, I think they touched up a lot of stuff in the original couple of movies with CG, but a lot of it was practical.
I think probably the third one was mostly because you have all the Dementors, so obviously those are going to be a bunch of CGI.
Yeah, have fun starving.
One of the things I just say one of the things that's commonly done, or at least that is, like, you don't even have to have, like, when they're doing the placeholders, right, and there's just a tennis ball on a stick, like, a lot of the way that they're doing it now with actual, like, going out on set is that, you have a stand-in that's, some shitty, like, if it's a monster, you have some shitty monster or whatever standing there.
You
so
have
that you
something
can
that the
actually
actors
get, like,
can look at.
well, not just,
least
and
there's
it's not even
something
just
there.
for that. You can get fucking light values and other things that CG artists need so that they can actually compare what something looks like in real life there. Okay, this is what, because if they make it, if they ahead of time, if the studio and whoever is making the movie goes to the CG artist and goes, okay, this is our creature concept as an example, right? This is what it should look like, and then they make a 1-to-1 replica of that, with the same colors that everybody's agreed on, and now out practically you get the correct light values and shit on it. So even though it might look shitty or whatever because it's not the best thing or whatever, or filmed at the right angle or whatever for it to work practically, when they go back over it with CG to complete the scene, like, that's way better because the actors on set have something to react to. The people who are working on it after the fact have a fucking piece of reference, and they don't just like, they don't just have, okay, we're gonna do the light values with the wand and the chrome ball and all the rest of that shit. There you go, you're good to go.
Red, you inadvertently made a joke for me here, and I'm having trouble not laughing. That shitty monster thing has a name. It's called Sean Gunn. He was the guy who was standing in for Groot in the Guardians movies.
yeah.
There we go.
I was gonna bring it up, but you started bringing it up. I was like, "Oh no, he's doing the punchline before I could get to it."
No, dude. Go ahead. Never let me step on a punchline, dude.
Yeah, that's how he completely got there in Guardians, working for James Gunn, his brother, but back there before he was relatively less famous. He was still well known, but less famous then. He put on the suit, and it was tennis ball on a stick, and he was in a green suit, so they would have something to look at for Groot.
Didn't they also do that for She-Hulk, despite how terrible that was? Like, they actually had like a She-Hulk cut out head on the, like, 2 feet above her head, so people would look at it correctly.
I was going to say, good CGI, Ultron, and Groot. Bad CGI, She-Hulk. So they were perfectly capable of it, and something happened around, I guess we'll say, Phase 4-ish.
Yeah, Phase 4 is kind of where things went downhill for Marvel.
Because I didn't watch Wakanda Forever, but there's that one hologram scene that's just so bad.
By the way, I have a brilliant segue when we get to it for studio meddling that you all are going to like.
Actually, speaking of bad CG and Marvel films, there was also another very, very horrifying just use of CG, which involves a certain director we won't name as well here, but involves Thor: Love and Thunder, and what was it? Heimdall's son just shows up in a vision before Thor and Jane and some of the other characters. Half the time I didn't even know what the hell I was looking at. I thought it was a joke when the kid's face shows up in the middle of nowhere like that, but no, that was real. That was a legitimate thing that happened. And oh my god.
And then a goat screamed.
And this time it wasn't my fault.
Internet joke.
Okay.
That?
Anyway,
Oh, that was another good movie, The Men Who Stare at Goats.
Oh.
The fact that it was based off a real thing is even funnier.
That's pretty
whole
funny
thing was
considering
actually true,
what
which is funny.
the segue for studio meddling I was going to use. Tropic Thunder.
Oh.
The saturation of it.
Oh my god. Okay. That
I'm a
was.
dude
I
pretend to be a
remember seeing
dude
that in the
pretend to be
movie theater,
another dude.
It's not just that; it's the layers that it's a good movie, and it's Tom Cruise in there being this
Fat
maybe not
hands.
as exaggerated version of a studio exec.
And the most
Fat
shocking thing to me
hand.
was it took years for me to realize that was Tom Cruise underneath all that makeup. It took me
Yeah,
a long
fat
time to figure that out.
Hands.
But he played a perfect example of your typical studio executive producer that just likes to butt in every single fucking time to basically tell the director and tell the actor and tell the key grip and tell micromanage it, essentially.
Yeah.
If there's one thing that I can tell you I hate more than anything else, and I have this sort of as like experience, supervising people at my old job. If there's one thing I hate more than anything else is having to micromanage, because I've been under the boots and the thumb of people who love micromanaging. It is a pain in the ass, and it is a fucking nightmare having to deal with people that want to take their steps every single step of the way. They want to have their own input. They want to make their own advice. They want to make everything that they want to see come to a reality part of your life, part of your single little miserable life, and it's insufferable.
If you would just wear the correct number of flair that you are required to at this fucking job, then it wouldn't be a problem.
Right?
Yeah.
You can take your flare and shove it right up your ass.
You see Office Space? He's like, you're not wearing
Did you get the memo
number of
about the
pieces of
TP?
flair. Well. Wow.
This
you're
is
gonna act
me
like that when you're
expressing
not wearing your
myself.
30 required pieces of flair.
But to be fair to Tom Cruise in that situation, having the key grip punch the director, I mean,
Look,
I know it's micromanaging like you said, but there's been some times where I've been in that lowly position and wanted to punch my boss for him doing something stupid there.
Oh,
so
definitely.
that kind of micromanagement.
I want you to hit that director right in the face really fucking hard.
I'm trying to remember the name of... I think the movie was Crawl Space, but it had this German actor. I can't remember his name. God, I can't remember his name. He wrote a book on the whole thing called "Please Kill Mr. Kinski."
Oh,
because
Kinski?
so many of the other people working on the film were like, "I can't work with this guy. He is annoying as hell. Please kill him."
Dude, what the fuck? How have I never heard of this movie? Dude,
I'll go with
There it
Johann
is, Klaus
Schmidt
Kinski.
because
Nuts.
that's the John Smith equivalent in German.
Yeah, the
Dude,
movie
Klaus
was called
Kinski
Crawl
is nuts.
Space. I think... damn it. Now I'm trying to remember the guy who made the video on YouTube that I watched about it. You guys keep talking, give me a minute, I'll find it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
What year
Well,
was this
okay.
movie out? Crawl Space?
I don't recall.
This 1986.
Okay.
I just looked it up on IMDb. This is wild. There's a guy with a swastika on his forehead. Yeah, dude, Klaus Kinski's a nut, dude. He's done some
Yeah, but
pretty wild
Klaus
performances.
Kinski was micromanaging literally everything from his own acting to everyone else's acting on set, and no one wanted to deal with him.
Well, yeah, and so if we're talking about movies, because we were talking about how it was a send up, his character in Tropic Thunder, to movie execs. Have any of you guys seen The Substance? Because that movie was a giant fuck you to movies and like how they're made and how female actors are treated and stuff. Has anybody seen The
I
Substance?
haven't seen
Oh,
The
that was
Substance myself
the
yet. I've heard a lot of great things about it, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's-
I
Considering
love
that
it.
it is like a Cronenberg style body horror film, which is right
Yeah.
up my alley. I absolutely
Oh
love
fuck, dude,
things
it's
like
gnarly.
that. I loved
Yeah,
watching The Fly. Go ahead,
the
Vatlaaw.
Demi Moore movie, right?
Yeah.
Demi Moore was in it.
Yeah. It's I
Okay.
haven't seen it, but I knew she got nominated for
Okay,
I
so-
believe Academy Award for that one.
I won't ruin anything, but I will tell you a couple things. Okay, number one, a lot of hardcore full frontal nudity. It was like I was watching movies. Great body horror, like a Cronenberg movie. That stuff is all fantastic. My issue is that I felt like it was a little longer than it needed to be, and if you would have cut off like the last, I don't know, like 15, 20 minutes of that movie, I would have liked it a lot more. But I understand what the director was going for, and if you guys watch it, you'll see it's a send up of a lot of different things. But they do something that I really like in horror filmmaking, which is just cinematography that makes you feel uncomfortable. So there's one scene of this guy walking up to, and he gets. It's it's Dennis Quaid, and he's playing such a scumbag. He's like a casting guy, and she isn't. She's an older. You get all this from the trailer, but anyway, he says some really nasty things. She tries to. They leave. They're done. In this, when they're having dinner together, talking about stuff, she goes to use the women's restroom, uses the men's restroom. She's in a stall, and he walks in, and they put the camera like right flush in the wall, and he walks directly in front of the camera and is on the phone, holding it with his shoulder and taking a piss with two hands, and the camera's like almost against his face, and he just is saying some really nasty shit about her, and then so that she's listening because she's in the room. And he's just awful, and he's like sucking on his teeth, and just it's really uncomfortable. And you're just like, God, dude, this guy is such a fucking scumbag. And if that is what the movie is going for, and it's not like unintentional or something like that, like I understood what they were going for. Like I love that kind of shit because it's meant to make you feel like that. Like I said, my definition of a good movie is one that makes you feel something, and then that one. Like The Substance definitely made me feel something. Like it was definitely had pretty repulsive shit in it, but that's what they were going for, and I don't see challenging movies like that made in America all that often anymore because it's mostly popcorn shit because they don't have the budget to make fun movies like that, and the people who do usually like it's not exactly
usually
something that you would want to
overpaced.
watch.
Okay, I found it.
Yeah.
It's
Go ahead.
The YouTube channel is called Good Bad Flicks, and the video on it is called Exploring Crawl Space, the movie where the lead actor declared war on the director.
Jesus.
That's a hell of a title.
Yeah. Good Bad Flicks. It's a 19-minute YouTube video. I highly recommend the channel just because they do a lot of like great behind-the-scenes stuff and reviews and stuff too.
I was going to say, I think I have heard of that channel. I'm not overly familiar, but I believe I've heard of them.
Like I've shown Red one of the other videos they did on a movie called The Uninvited, which is about a cat inside of another cat on a yacht.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was wild.
Interesting.
Yeah. The band Psycho Stick did the opening music for his video of it. And it's like, there's a cat, an evil cat, and it lives inside another cat. We didn't make it up.
Weird shit. Yeah, the people
That
who make that
sounds
stuff,
either like horror movie or
It's supposed
Saturday
to be a
morning
creature horror
cartoon.
film, but it turns into an unintentional comedy.
yeah.
It's either horror movie that goes wrong or Saturday morning cartoon that like no one bats an eyelash at. It's like, oh yeah, totally normal. Cat inside of a cat.
Like you said,
It's
that's
an
so
insane
funny.
thing. But yeah, Good Bad Flicks. I'd recommend that channel if you want to get into some pretty cool behind-the-scenes stuff for some movies.
I
Including,
love behind the scenes
I don't know if
shit.
anyone's watched it. Disney's The Black Hole. Their very first PG movie.
No, I thought you were going to say
And
Black
parents
Cauldron.
were
Yeah, that's
writing
what I was
into
thinking.
Disney because Disney was made. Disney made only G films at the time. A
Mhm.
PG film, and parents were writing letters and calling in saying, "Oh, I'm going to boycott this movie because we can't have a movie for kids where people are saying damn." It's like,
And
look
we're
at like PG
rating
movies
for-
now.
Oh, dude, yeah, like Stand By Me, dope. Gotta have kids saying curse words.
It's so weird. It's like, oh, take your kids to see Alien. That's fine.
Hell yeah.
This
dude.
movie's PG and they say "damn" in it. That's not okay.
Well, I mean,
So
there
weird,
was a
man.
PG movie in like the 70s that had full frontal nudity.
Fuck yeah, dude. But
And
it
it was
was
a
kids
kids'
movie.
movie.
Jaws.
No,
I think
unfortunately,
it was
at
called
the
like The
time,
Last Dinosaur or something like that.
Oh,
But
yes, I
dude,
do
Jaws
remember
is
that
PG.
now.
Full frontal
Chick is
female
naked in the very
nudity.
beginning of it.
In the 70s, like, man, we missed some really good PG times.
Nobody,
Like
look,
I
nobody
said,
at this
dude.
time anticipated that they were gonna start pushing the boundaries for PG films. So I mean, that's why PG-13 didn't exist until, of course, Temple of Doom came, and then that's when they were like,
Yep.
okay, all right, let's make a bridge between PG and R. There you go, and there you go. Now you have an entire an entire rating where just dozens, hundreds, thousands
And
of
most people
films
ignore
just
it.
basically sit comfortably there now.
Well, they even pushed the boundaries on the quote-unquote PG-13. I remember them talking about that when The Dark Knight came out because of the pencil trick. They're like, okay, it was shown off, like it's on camera, but you don't actually see the
Oh,
pencil go
but
into
you
his
don't-
head. It's not
like, what,
bloody.
no.
You don't
But it's
even
like-
see blood.
Yeah, but it's like, can
No,
we
of
show
course.
this in a PG-13 movie? And it's just like,
Ta-da!
or him burning some people to death on a pile of cash and feeding some people to a dog and doing some other shit. And it's like, this is all in a
Oh
PG-13.
God.
Well, it's
I'm
like,
gonna have
look
to
at like
reveal
a
my
bunch of the
age
Friday
for
the
this
13th movies almost getting an
Oh.
X rating because, swung the sleeping bag at the tree one too many times. Now it's an X rating. Instead of
right.
one time, you did it twice. Now it's an X rating.
No, I'm actually gonna have to frickin' reveal my age for this story now. How many of y'all seen South Park Bigger, Longer, Uncut?
Hell
Yes,
yes,
I
brother.
have. Yes. Oh,
I
man.
was
I'm pretty sure you had
16
it,
when that
Red.
movie dropped. Yeah.
I was
I was
7, I
16
think.
when that movie came out, and
Wasn't that
the
came out in
relevance of that was me and my friend. We couldn't get into R-rated movies. He had a car. We drove there. We were both 16. He ended up running into one of his friends who bought the tickets, and it's like, okay, how are we going to get past the usher there who's checking tickets and everything else? Then they did the same shit in the movie, and
Just
we're
like
sitting
the
there
South
looking
Park
at each
one,
other
I
like,
can't believe
yes!
it.
Dude, we need to get into it.
That's pretty funny, actually. That's
Hey,
very
guy, do
funny.
you want the booze or not? Dude, that
We
movie
didn't
so
exactly
fucking
go
funny.
that far, but I mean, it's like, okay, we overpaid him by like $10, so he probably could have got booze with it.
That's probably a nice,
can
like,
now.
what, fucking 16-ounce
When
of
we
beer
did
or
that,
something.
we turned at each other. We were sitting there laughing, and that's the thing. It was a South Park movie.
Dude, so funny.
Okay, they said fuck a lot. There was
A
no
lot.
reason besides the F word that it should have been an R rating.
Well,
What's
I mean,
the clit?
you did have the clitoris show up. The literal
Yeah.
clitoris. Yeah, so there was that.
It was a cartoon.
It was a cartoon clitoris. It's
Yeah, but if you want to go by that
Children-
logic, then what about
Okay,
Fritz
so
the Cat?
When I was
It
younger,
wasn't
when I
even
watched
attached
it,
to a woman.
I mean, when I was younger, when I first watched it, I thought it was just a giant scoop of like strawberry ice cream, like weirdly
And
calling itself
technically
the
it
clitoris. Because I mean, again, it's like it's shoddy 2D like flash animation drawings that you're using. They're using like cutouts of the
Yeah.
characters that they all like glue and tape together so that they can film it. It's a variation of stop motion animation that they're doing. So all you're really
Like a-
seeing is a giant
A
like, scoop of
circle of
ice cream.
construction paper. That was it.
Yes.
So
So
funny.
that's all that it was. So like
they
I'm
show
watching this,
dildos.
and, like wondering why is it calling itself the clit? It looks
Haven't
like
you heard of
ice
the
cream.
Emancipation Proclamation?
And
I don't
only,
listen to hip-hop.
Okay, maybe besides the F word, there was reasons it was R. Saying that, R should be reduced. We had the emotional maturity to go to that at 16. And how do I know that? Because I did it at 16 through less than legal means.
Don't even get me started on.
I mean, as someone who was an usher for 2 years, I don't give a damn if anyone wanted to see it.
There are plenty of reasons why it's rated R.
Okay, made by the same guys. Obviously, it's Trey Parker and Matt Stone. They made Team America, right? So the South Park movie came out in '99, and then Team America, if I'm not mistaken, was 2004. So I was 9 when that one came out. So 2004, 14 or 15 when Team America came out. And how I pitched it to my parents when it came out on pay-per-view for us to watch at the house because we had satellite. I was like, dude, we have to watch this movie. I heard it's really funny. And they're like, yeah, but this is like South Park and blah, 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 because I wasn't allowed to watch South Park. I was like, no, you got to understand. It's really funny. It's marionettes. My freshman English teacher said that he went and saw it and laughed so hard that he had to leave the theater and bumped into like 6 of his students. Mom, I'm one of those students, but I haven't seen this fucking movie. I want to see it really bad. And then, so they put it on, and they, of course, like super inappropriate, but hilarious. And my parents still joke about it to this day. I mean, I was like 14 or 15 when that came out. It's just like, I mean, they're showing mannequins having sex. All sorts of wild.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what did your parents think about that scene?
They laughed their asses off.
That was not how that story I expected the ending. I expected to turn it on for 15 minutes and then nope and
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
No, my parents have a great sense of humor. They were just like, because they just, heard a lot about South Park, but they never watched it. I was little when South Park first came out, and I have an older sibling who's 10 years older, and then she knew what South Park was, and she's a girl, so she didn't like it, so she was like, nah. So I never really got to watch it. I got to watch The Simpsons. I got to watch R-rated movies growing up, and blah, 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 but it just, South Park, that's a little bit too far, but I was like, God, come on, this is so funny. And that's how we got to watch that.
I am relatively intrigued to the answer to this for the rest of you, since Red just shared this. What's the most risque thing that both your parents, not necessarily risque, like the most adult-related content your parents have watched in front of you? My answer to that, which I did not expect from them, they randomly turned on Cheech and Chong one day.
Oh yeah, dude.
To explain my parents, I'm from backwoods West Virginia, both very religious, and they're sitting there yucking it up to Cheech and Chong, and I'm sitting there kind of stunned by it, and I was like, this is normally the stuff I have to hide from you all to watch. And then they were sitting there watching, laughing it up in front of me. I was like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this one.
I guess for me, I would have to say, my brother and I think this was maybe a year after this movie came out. My brother and I were watching Watchmen on TV on like one of the big movie channels because it came out of theaters. It was finally being circulated on Cinemax or HBO and things like that. Mm-hmm. And my parents were also there. They wanted a film to sort of watch along with us, so we started watching Watchmen. They were pretty enticed by it. They were entertained. And then we got to the part where Night Owl and Silk Spectre, after saving a whole apartment of people, just decided they would get it on, basically.
Yeah, I get a bigger hell yeah.
Well, let's not forget Mr. Manhattan's trunks hanging out like half the movie.
Okay, I don't want to side key anything that you're saying. So just remember where we are. You're talking about Watchmen, but I just wanted to say one of the things when he brought up the prompt of what makes a good movie is I was going to say that completely depends on age, because when I was younger, if the movie had boobs in it, dude, I thought it was the greatest movie ever, and I had to watch it again.
We still do
what I would
what
do.
are you talking about?
Yeah,
under that prerequisite, there's a lot of adult themed films that you could just kind of put
Ghost
on the list.
in the Shell.
Yes.
Boobs in the first 5 fucking minutes of this movie before the credits have even rolled. I love it. How do you do
how
this
many
to me?
like animated kids movies have adult jokes that kids just don't get, but adults laugh their asses off at? And like Shrek 2 with the whole dungeon thing, we were laughing the whole time we were in theaters watching that.
Oh,
And there were kids around who were like,
something-
well, what's so funny about
Just
this?
just a quick side tangent. Speaking of Ghost in the Shell, when I first watched the anime on Toonami back in like 2003, 2004, I think that was the first time I actually had male feelings and whatnot awaken in me because of the Major. I was like,
hell yeah, dude.
Hey, what is this now? Who is this lady? And it's only years later I finally understand what the word waifu means. It's like, oh, okay.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Does your waifu continue to be the Major?
No, it's switched. It has switched, but she's still up there on that list.
Yeah.
What,
she
switched
needs a
over to
better haircut.
Bato? What's wrong with you?
What's the name of the purple-haired chick who's always beating up on Shinji, the older one that's in the military? On
in Evangelion, that's
Yeah.
Misato. That's
Yes!
Misato. Yeah.
that would become my new anime waifu.
I hate
Yeah.
that I'm answering this question, but I have a classic answer of who my first one was, and I will stick to it. Android 18.
Yeah, I can
don't
understand
blame
that.
you. I don't blame you.
Wait, is
Hell,
that
you know what?
DBZ?
I'm starting to come around to it as well too. Because
Oh,
like
okay.
I'm strangely starting to get an affinity for blondes now, and Android 18
Strangely.
happens to be a blonde, so
Okay, can I just quote what makes a great movie in the 80s? It's one-liners. What makes a great movie in
yeah.
Total Recall is when the girl
Oh.
grabs him by the crotch and she goes, "What have you been feeding this thing?" And he just looks at her and goes, "Blonde."
The
It's like
Arnold
80s.
one-liner movies, the
Oh, dude.
Stallone one-liner
Okay.
movies. We were spoiled, man.
Okay, does anybody
first-
know what the
first
first
term-
one-liner? The first one-liner ever in a movie for a good guy killing a bad guy and saying a one-liner, because I know what it is and it's fantastic.
I do not.
I've
Okay.
probably
No.
heard it, but I cannot tell you because I
Yeah.
do not know for certain.
Okay, it's
Yeah,
in
but-
the
Well, I'll put it
second-
like this: was it said by Eastwood?
Yes, it was. It was
Okay,
said
so
by
it was
Eastwood.
said by Clint Eastwood.
Okay.
It's the second Dirty Harry movie, and it's the bad guy who is in the police force. I forget what he's a higher rank than Clint Eastwood. So there's a scene early on in the movie where, just giving Dirty Harry a bunch of shit, and he goes, I've never even had to pull my gun in service. And then so Clint Eastwood looks at him and says, "A man's got to know his limitations." And it's
Oh,
hilarious.
yeah.
Total great one-liner, right? Well, at the end of the movie, when he's killed all the other bad guys, that guy pops up, is holding them at gunpoint, and he's like, "I'm not going to kill you, Harry. I'm just going to murder you in the press. You're going to hang. I'm going to drive away in this car with this bomb in the back seat that you just activated, and I don't know." And the jackass drives away and explodes, and Dirty Harry looks at him and then says, "A man's got to know his..." and walks the fuck away. End of movie. Fantastic first murder one-liner. I mean, you can follow the track from there all the way to Arnold, sticking a guy with a huge knife in Predator, and he says, "Stick around." And there's so many good ones. Dude, I almost
You need to
came
let off some
when they
steam,
made...
Bennett.
Dude,
I'm only
dude,
reminded
yes!
of
Let
one line
off
from
the
his
steam!
the first ever Terminator film, and the apartment guy is just like, "Hey, what the hell's going on with that scent in there? What do you got?" And the next thing you know, Arnie, as the Terminator, is like trying to figure out various different like responses to it. What does he choose? Fuck you,
Fuck you,
asshole.
asshole. So awesome, dude. Okay, when they did a preview for the original Expendables in the movie theater, it was shown like it was like gonna be this like a movie about marriage, and it's just like showing a guy and a chick, and it's talking about marriage and blah blah blah. And I was like, what is it? It's a preview for a movie, so I don't know what it is at all, right? And then he goes, "Now I pronounce you," and then fucking flips back the hood, and now all of a sudden you can see the priest, and it's Jason Statham. He says, "Man and knife," and fucking stabs the guy. And I was like, what is this? Oh my god! And it's like, boom, fucking Arnold.
It reminds me of the Deadpool Valentine's Day movie campaign.
That's right. Yeah, I do remember that as well too. Okay, so to tie into what makes a great movie, marketing is another thing as well.
Yes,
Marketing really helps.
you need to have
in
good
selling
marketing
a movie.
a lot of the time. But there's a lot to be said about word of mouth movies too.
Oh, of
Mhm.
course, 100%.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's how you get things like Transformers One. Ignoring the box office, like having seen Transformers One myself, I was actually watching it on the way back home from MegaCon earlier this year. It was actually a really good flick. I actually
Yeah.
really enjoyed it. I grew up
Well made.
mainly watching Transformers Armada on TV and then watching the Bayformers films. And I know people have their opinions on those. The first one, like I actually really do enjoy.
I think everyone
It's a
agrees the
solid
first one is
film.
good.
The
Yes.
second
Yeah.
one, don't even get me started on the second one. I can't. But the third one somehow actually kind of like drags me back into it, especially the third half. I'm sorry, the third act of the film where there's the whole battle going on in Chicago. But I digress. Transformers One actually is a solid Transformers film. It's really good with like the origin stories on like Optimus Prime and Megatron and everything, and you're really sold on like the relationship between these two. Like whenever throughout the other films they say that they were brothers once, I see now why it is that they used to be brothers before it all went apart. But unfortunately, the movie obviously didn't do so good in terms of box office numbers. Why? Because the advertising, the marketing, they were selling this thing like it was solely a kids only kind of flick. Like it was tons of jokes, tons of gags,
They tried to market it
stuff
like
that
a
you would
Marvel
show for your
movie.
9-year-olds. Yes, and they were trying to market like a Marvel movie. It was bad. The marketing for it was terrible, and because of that, not a whole lot of people went and watched it. And sadly, because of that, they missed out on what was actually a really good Transformers film.
See, they did the
So word
same
of
thing
mouth definitely pays off for it.
with Speed Racer. Terrible. I mean, I thought that the movie was very fun, especially for the time that it came out. I saw it in the movie theater. Wow, visually to see that movie in the movie theater was very exciting. Like it was really cool. And I was like, why did this movie make no money? It had very terrible advertising. But have you ever had a movie advertise one thing to you, and then you get there to the movie, and it's not what you expected, and it pisses you off,
Oh,
and
you
then
mean every
later you
Marvel
can
movie after Endgame?
well, and then later you can watch the movie and actually end up really liking it. Like I had that experience with Inglorious Bastards because when that movie first came out, they were
Ooh,
like, "Look,
yeah.
watch this movie. You're gonna watch the bastards kill people." And I looked at the runtime. I was like, 2.5 hours. I'm gonna have 2.5 hours of Nazi killing fucking fun. This is gonna be great. This is gonna be awesome. And then what it actually is a fucking motif to fucking Western movies, which I really like. And it's actually really well acted in the scenes, the cinematography again, and script writing and all the dialogue. It's actually a really fantastic fucking movie. But I was so pissed off with how they marketed that movie because I was expecting to see an action movie, and that's not what I got. I got an extremely dialogue-heavy movie, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Brad Pitt is barely in this fucking movie. I signed up for the Bastards, and that's not what it was. And it actually even harkens back to like this old motif that they in westerns from that time period where they would show where like a lot of the shit would happen off screen, and then they would go back to the characters and like yeah blah blah blah, and then they would inform you of like what actually happened and shit like that, so it forces you to pay attention. And so there's some of that happens, but I was so pissed off with how they marketed that. And then there's some other movies where it seems that there's been this dramatic fall off with like the quality of trailers. They either show the entire movie in the trailer, so it's
Or they
instead
show
of
nothing.
yeah, or nothing. But like, there's been a couple movie trailers that I've seen recently that I thought were really good, and I haven't seen the movie, but I thought that the trailer and how they released it was fantastic. Was for the 28 years later, like they showed there was no spoken dialogue in it, and then they played that poem "Boots," and it's like this marching chant, and it was really good, especially like the theme of what they were going for, the fact that it was a horror movie, it was a franchise that people were familiar with and stuff, but they didn't want to show you too much of like what had happened because it's much further along. They're showing different characters, like what am I going to see with this? And then so I thought that was excellent in how they advertised it because it was a really well put together trailer. And I was like, dude, I have a friend that refuses to watch movie trailers, fucking ruin everything. it sucks because you see a movie trailer and then you go and see the movie and blah blah blah. And I was like, if you can tell me what the fuck is going on in this trailer, like I will give you $1 million. I don't know what the hell is going on in this, but it looks intriguing. It looks really fun. And there's another horror movie that's coming out now. I'm losing Weapons. Have you guys seen the trailer for this? It's a Josh Brolin
the trailer
movie.
for Weapons. That's actually another fascinating one too. There's not a whole ton of dialogue in it as well, but there's a lot of events unfolding in it that really entice you, especially considering that like it's a movie about kids that are like vanishing and disappearing in the middle of the night. You're seeing what is it? I forget what the actor's name is. It's the guy that played Wong in Doctor Strange. Like he's in it as well too.
It's
and he's
Benedict
got like
Wong.
Benedict Wong. That's funny. So Benedict Wong's in the movie. There's a shot of him basically like having his like blood and like black ooze like just flowing out from his eyes and whatnot. Like clearly there's something intense going on in this film that all involves this teacher that is fascinated with like witchcraft or like teaching them about a history lesson on like witchcraft and things like that, and it's like really interesting. Like the film, the trailer definitely sells me for it.
It's like that. That's fun. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say from that description, sounds a little like Sicario with like mysticism attached to it.
Ooh, yeah, that was a fun one.
I actually,
you brought up Josh Brolin, and I was like, he's established. Like one of the complaints now is we don't go see movies for the stars, or at least that's one of the complaints they use on F&T. I'll go see a Josh Brolin movie.
Yeah, there's certain people
I watch shows or movies because of an actors.
I will see Carl Urban in movies. I will see Josh Brolin in movies, and not to go too far back for Inglourious Bastards. Your description there. Similar experience, but in the theater, I remember I was confused, but it didn't affect my enjoyment that much. I was like, I'm still enjoying the movie, but this was not what I signed up for, was basically my vibe.
Yeah. See, and you're probably just a lot more emotionally mature than I was when that movie. I'm trying to remember how. Let me look it up. Inglorious. So it was 2009. I was 19. No, I'm still an asshole. No, I just had a like really high expectations, and I had seen Tarantino movies before, so I wasn't unfamiliar with what his thing was. I wouldn't say that I was like super familiar. I was like, yeah, I've seen Pulp Fiction, I've seen Reservoir Dogs. Those are great movies. But like,
I'd say Reservoir Dogs is probably one of my favorites as well. That's definitely a favorite movie because it's such a good setup and a good like the way they have it shot. It's essentially a one-room movie.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it works exceptionally well because they keep the tension going throughout the whole thing.
The bank robbery movie without the bank robbery.
I think it was a stage play before it was a movie.
What, did he do it as a stage play?
No, I think someone else had did it before that, but I'm not certain on that. So I may be wrong, but I think it was. But related back to Inglourious Bastards, like no one's calling that the best Tarantino movie. But I still thought it was a good movie. Like, it's not Reservoir Dogs. It's not Pulp Fiction. But still a very good movie. But it's one of those to where the marketing was it was misleading. Whether that was the intent or not, I do not know. But it was definitely misleading.
That's just one that I can remember famously that I was like, man. And then I watched it probably like 3 or 4 months ago, and I loved it. Like I could sit through the entire thing. Like especially that opening scene is really well done. If you've seen The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, it's the same as the opening scene with Angel Eyes. Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really well done, and it's just like spaghetti western type stuff, only with Nazis. So I really like all those old
into marketing. The first Zootopia, I mentioned this a couple of times before on Daily and stuff. The first Zootopia was not meant to be as lighthearted as it came out to be. Like, the original marketing material that came out years before the movie was, this is going to be a dark detective noir style film with furries. Like, the whole idea was predators were wearing shock collars that would go off if they showed any aggressive forms. Judy was supposed to be investigating a murder, and she wasn't a rookie police cop; she was a detective. It's like they've changed it up a lot from what it became.
I can.
And that's what they're doing for the new one, is they wanted to put some of those elements back. So that's what I'm really looking forward to with the Zootopia 2 is, well, what are they going to put back in besides just there's been an actual murder in this city that we know is high profile. And like the entire thing is
misleading.
Yeah, it's a little bit misleading. I mean, if you look at like the teaser trailer that dropped for Zootopia 2 a little while ago, there's no dialogue in the trailer. And it kind of just shows, Judy, Nick, and Gary being chased around the place by rhinos who are cops. And then they eventually come across a hooded figure with glowing eyes, and everyone's like terrified of this thing, and no one really knows why. And that's where the trailer ends. Like, there's no dialogue. It's just, hey, look, there's these really fun chase scenes, there's all these different environments, and then there's this cutoff of like, okay, who the hell is this, and what did they do? It's like that kind of thing will get you into a movie is like the mystery that a trailer should leave you with. Like, a trailer should leave you wanting more.
Absolutely.
On the subject of like misleading trailers and things of that nature, I remember I was pretty young. This was around the time when franchises like Paranormal Activity were still hot and were still a thing. This was the third film. And I remember constantly seeing trailers and commercials for the third Paranormal Activity film where it was it was like setting up where it was a prequel film. The family and the sisters were like growing up and they were being haunted in this house. And then the next thing you know, they were trying to call like a priest to come and help them. The house gets set on fire. Police and like fire emergencies were coming in. And then like before they end the trailer, they show us what could be the origin of it all. And it's like the two sisters basically decided they would play, Bloody Mary in the dark bathroom. And then older sister scares the younger sister by turning on the flashlight while they're still doing the ritual. They both leave. You see the ghost in the bathroom, and it's like, holy shit, so this is how it starts. You go and watch the film.
It's completely different.
And it's completely different, the storyline. Turns out the grandma basically sold the family to the devil or made some kind of pact to the devil just for money. So basically, they did a Hereditary before Hereditary decided that they would
and then they decided to
take that same premise.
Yeah, then they expanded more. It's like, oh, well, she was actually part of the witch's coven kind of thing. It's like, you really could have just started with greed was the beginning of it all. You didn't need to go so deep into the rabbit hole that you had to come up with an entire cult just to explain where this demon came from.
Right.
Okay.
But the whole point is that third film, they completely sold you something else and then showed you something completely different once you finally paid your tickets.
My question to you is, because you're the one who brought this up, and did you like that? Was it good that they subverted your expectations, or were you pissed because you got a different bill of goods?
I don't know. To be honest, I was confused as to why I was sold, a different bill of goods in the first place.
So you were just confused by it, you would say? Like you just like this is weird. Like this isn't.
I'm sort of confused as to why studios would like to create trailers in one particular way, and then when the finished product actually comes out, you see something completely different. Because just based off of my experience from what I'd seen growing up until then, a lot of the trailers that I saw kind of sold me exactly what I was going to watch when I finally saw the film. Whatever my opinion was on the film when I finally went and watched it, it was irrelevant of the trailer because at least I'd known whatever the trailer had showed me, I was going to see most of it in the film.
Some form in the film itself.
Like
maybe not in the same context, but it would be there.
Right. But ever since Paranormal Activity 3, that's when I started realizing, okay, obviously studios are going to give us trailers that will subvert, where once I finally watch the film, my expectations are going to be subverted. So now at this point, I don't know what to expect when it comes to watching trailers. Now,
and
so
then you
far,
have
a lot of the
trailers for the trailers.
Right. Oh, God.
Yeah, go figure that one out.
Oh,
ever since then, however, a good number of trailers.
Then they had the trailer for the trailer in the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what you mean.
Right at
Yeah.
the beginning, they
At the
have
beginning,
like
it's
3 seconds that are going to play
trailer
later.
starts now.
Yeah, they're
Yeah,
like, the
that
trailer
whole
starts
bullshit,
now.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
what's the point of that?
Like
I
wake
they
up
want to
and
watch
look
the
up
cart
trailer.
in
I'm
front of
here
the
for the
horse.
trailer.
Fucking people who use TikTok. That's who it's for. Fucking this short attention span assholes. I don't know. That's literally the only thing I could think of why you would teaser a trailer before you fucking show the trailer, which is a teaser of the fucking material in the first place. It's so infuriating. It's like, does people have attention spans anymore? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was one of the basics we learned in graphic design when I was taking that over at Shasta. Was what we learned was called the 7-second rule. If you make an ad or a billboard or something, people aren't going to really look at it when they're driving because that's dangerous. So you have to capture their attention in 7 seconds. They have to see the item, get the message, remember the name, 7 seconds. That's all the time you have. And trailers don't seem to do that anymore.
I can actually bring up a good billboard that does this. Up and down 95, I'm in Florida. There's a lot of Ron John's surf shop billboards. Most of them have about 20 to 25-year-old women in bikinis on them.
Yeah, that'll get your
they
attention.
do grab the attention.
Sex sells, buddy. Hell yeah.
Oh god, now you're reminding me of those. I can't even remember the product anymore, but they're infamous French commercials for some soft drink, like orange flavored soft drink. They're always an anthropomorphic animal.
is it Fanta?
No, it's not Fanta. It's something else.
No,
It's some French
Trust me,
brand of something, but it's always like hypersexualized furry stuff. It's like a bunch of girls like rollerblading down a beach, and one of them just happens to be a busty giraffe.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where it's like, I'm not a furry, but
Yeah,
Euro commercial regulations. That's all I'm saying. They're almost non-existent.
yeah, you think that, and then you see like a bunch of the other commercials, like, wait, we couldn't even do this in America. How the hell did you get away with it? And then you see stuff that's censored to hell, and it's from the same country.
One of the things that I saw recently, as far as advertisement goes in this genre, where they change, and I've stayed away from movie trailers more often than not recently, just because I like going into a movie completely blind. I find it to be more fun that way. But with a movie like Final Destination, like, you know what you're getting. So I didn't watch any of the movie trailers, right? Well, after the fact, because I saw the movie, and not to ruin anything, there's a scene where they're going into a hospital and there's a turnstile. And then they kind of like hesitate and like kind of do this thing where it's kind of fucking with you, but nothing. Okay? In the marketing material for this movie, they show a character going in there and then start to get fucked up. And it's not in the movie at all. And I was like, what? Did I like miss a scene? I was like, I didn't get up and go to the bathroom. They changed what happened in certain scenes. They actually paid artists to murder people in certain scenes where they do not in fact die. So that when the people who actually watch the marketing material would go and see it, that's not what fucking happens in the movie. And I was like, that's...
I found the name of the brand. It's called Orangina Naturally Juicy from 2007 from France.
Oh boy.
Oh man, you can't
get
this
is
guy off
an
18-year-old furry ad.
confusing commercial.
I'll pass for now. I believe you. I'll pass.
Yep, I'm good.
I can only get so hard. Okay.
Guys. Oh,
The YouTube thumbnail is literally like 3 giraffe girls on bottles that are spraying soda.
What?
Oh boy.
Of course,
Like,
it's France.
Only out of France. I cannot see that being an American commercial.
We'll save it for the R34 stream.
It's technically
Right.
legal. It's not adult content. It's on YouTube. It's uncensored.
Oh man.
Throwback for later.
2007 was a wild year.
I got a couple smart ass responses to that, but we will keep that for the R34 stream. But but I think that, I don't know, maybe we should narrow our view on this a little bit, and then I think one way that we could do this is, instead of saying just favorite movie of all time, like favorite movie in certain like genres, or like favorite movie of a decade. Like, what's your favorite movie from the 90s? Because I feel like movies from the 80s, from the 90s, from the 2000s, from now, like they all kind of like have a different flavor. Like each of those decades, you can kind of tell which movies were made in what decade, and certain ones, of course, like you got to look at like the highlights, like the best movies that came out in those decades, and you can kind of get that. But I don't know, like favorite movie of the 90s, something like that.
Well, 2016 is kind of a hard one because a bunch of really good movies came out that year.
Yeah.
And
Or
I
like
was still working at the
Evan.
movie theater from 2014 to 2016, so I saw some good films. Like
Oh, yeah,
Fury
dude.
was an amazing film.
Oh, best tank movie. Like, you're gonna ask me best movie that has a tank in it. Fury is probably number one.
I mean, Deadpool and Zootopia both came out in 2016.
Yeah.
So it's really
Goddamn
hard to
Ukrainians
decide like
getting rid
what would
of
be my favorite
John-
movie of that year when two of my favorite movies came out that year.
Well, now with the Ukraine war, there is going to be no more tank warfare anymore. So I'm not even going to get any cool fucking tank movies anymore. Kind of sucks.
Well, there won't
Well,
be
to
any
be fair,
Russian ones
they'll-
anymore. The Ukraine farmers will have towed them all away.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's all going to be about drones now.
The war,
Lame.
the war's having its off season right now. They're just roster mania is going on.
I'm just saying, I think that fucking tanks are one of the coolest things ever. And now, within a couple years, I've literally watched their obsolescence happen. And it's like, that's fucking lame,
Well-
bro. I think tanks are cool, and they're not, like, what's the point of making a goddamn $100 million fly a $300 goddamn drone? Like,
Well, they'll still be tank movies. I mean, you're referencing Fury. Fury's not modern.
Yeah.
That's World War II.
I'm just saying,
There
like,
will-
the
there will
life of
be a-
tank. There's not going to be a World War One tank movie, but it's
mean,
like
there should
World
be,
War
but
Two
it's awesome.
to like 2023. From now on, that's the only time period in which tanks are going to be a fucking thing. It's just like there's not going to be any more like future, because you can watch movies in the future and they have future tanks. There's future tanks in
Yeah,
Star
there's
Wars.
literally
I've
like
seen
hover
them.
tanks and stuff like that.
But no,
Right.
in
Well,
real life, do we need tanks anymore? Not so fucking much.
Now we're stuck with drones.
Yep, fucking drone
Well,
warfare's lame.
Well,
Not
there
to
was
be
drones,
too-
but I mean, before there were drones, there were A-10s that were literally
Yeah, but
called
A-10s
tank
were
killers.
awesome.
Tank killers, yep, the A-10s. Good
Yeah.
old warhogs.
I mean, A-10s
Yeah,
are literally like the epitome of, I'm going to say fuck you before you even hear me.
But
Yeah.
not to be too current eventy, but like to combine tanks and drones. If you did want to make a film, you could have a film that involves a certain conflict that's going on in Eastern Europe, and talk about how there is that endless like back and forth between tanks and drones. You kind of like you look at it online, you see a lot of the videos, you see how drone warfare is scarily evolving, where you don't even need to bust out an A-10 Thunderbolt just to try and kill these things. No. Just pack a drone with enough ordnance, and the next thing you know, that the crew is just completely vaporized inside.
It's fucking
So you
creepy
could-
as shit, dude.
But you
You
can
could
still take
make
down a drone with
movies.
anti-air.
Or TV shows that
Yeah.
that revolve around that kind of
You put enough
conflict.
lead in
You could
the air,
make
that
something
drone's going
about it.
down.
Well, and it's tanks I doubt are obsolete to that point. It's just the amount of air support you would actually need to have with them. Like, if the U.S.
man.
got involved in a serious conflict, if it was literally land war in China, Air
We'd still
Force
be
would
using
bomb
tanks.
everything to hell. We would make sure there's no drones up, and you don't think there's tanks rolling into that?
Yeah, you have.
We got
no
a
matter
lot
what,
of
you have to
tanks
put
that
You
would
boots
still
on
put
need
on the
tanks
ground.
for urban warfare and forested environments
Yeah.
where drones can't do coverage. You
Yeah,
need
Yeah,
stuff
but
that
the
can go
point
through
was-
environments or just run things down.
Well,
Yeah,
it's just
that-
how.
that air would be cleared. Drones
Yeah.
do beat tanks in this, but yeah, we would have to clear it out first.
Drones beat tanks as long as tanks don't have anti-air armaments.
Yeah.
Right.
But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things. It was crazy to see like the life cycle of something. It's like, man, you watch how they look in World War One into the way that they look at World War Two compared to like a modern tank, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. Where are they going with it? And then now it's like, oh yeah, Well, one thing that also happened at the same time was the proliferation of drone technology. It's like, oh shit, we never saw that wasn't on my fucking bingo cards for 2002. It's just wild to see how
Wasn't one
we're
of
fixing
Alan
just like
Rickman's
that.
final movies about drones?
Well, they've shown
His
drones in
last-
movies before
His
that,
last
and
movie was Alice in Wonderland 2.
Oh, Alice Through the Looking Glass.
Yes, that was his last movie because that was in 2016.
Oh, what am I thinking? Because I know he was in a drone movie just before he died. I just can't remember the name of it.
I think I know which one you're talking about because I
It was
believe
not
Helen
Eagle
Mirren
Eye.
was also in it as well. No, clearly it wasn't Eagle Eye, nor was it Stealth because those are like years and years ago.
Yeah.
But I
You
have
mean
a
it wasn't
feeling I know
Die
which one you're
Hard?
talking.
No, it was a standalone movie about drone warfare in some capacity. But I think it
there's
was
a
more
link-
on like the politicals of drone warfare and not the actual drones.
Eye in the Sky. That's the one.
There it is,
Eye
yeah.
in the Sky, and I was right. Helen Mirren's also in this movie as well.
Yep, 2015. Yep.
Yep, this is the one.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, it was one of his
No.
last movies.
What's that? No, there's a movie about a guy getting PTSD from being a drone operator in Iraq, and there's a scene in one of those Fallen movies where they try to kill the president with drones. And there's some interesting stuff that came out way before drones were super prolific, but just like, I mean, not to get political, but the other day in the news, Iran was saying that they're like, good luck for Trump sitting outside because one of our micro drones will hit him in the belly button and kill him. And it's just like, do we actually like live in a time where people could just send in a shitload of drones somewhere? Oh yeah, they did it in Ukraine, and then they just did it again in Iran.
I'm trying to
Mossad
remember
did.
what
They're
movie
just like
it was that had like
sneaking
a
drones
swarm
in.
of drones. It was like
And it's
there was
just-
a swarm of drones, but they all had bombs, and I can't remember what movie it was.
That's probably I think it's the third Olympus Has Fallen movie because they try to kill Morgan Freeman,
Oh,
and
right,
they end
it
up
was,
jumping
yeah.
into water. Yeah,
it was
and
the
that
third
was-
Olympus Has Fallen movies.
yeah, which I forget what year that came out in. It's just creepy. It's drone shit is super creepy. It all makes me think of the Terminator because it's just like, dude, flying fucking robots. It's just like
Hunter-killer
no
drones.
fucking way. Yeah, and it's like, and I love trap shooting, but I didn't know that was going to be a skill that I was going to need in fucking World War III because goddamn flying lawnmowers are going to be everywhere. Like that's such bullshit.
Flying
like-
lawnmower.
It's such horseshit. It's like, seriously, this is how I'm going to die with like Chinese stamp fucking part $300 piece of shit.
You're
I'm
gonna-
not even
you're
gonna get
gonna
run over
die-
by a tank. Like this is lame.
Got a BB-8.
DB8.
All I could say is there are plenty of rednecks in the South that are looking forward to the drone skeet shooting competition that will be coming.
Me too,
New-
dude. Me too.
New
But
Olympics
seriously.
were invented.
Yeah. Well, like they literally, I saw a thing the other day where they have a course where they drive guys around in Russia on a deuce and a half truck, and they take them around this obstacle course, and then they have little drone figurines and they shoot at them. And it's like, and Ukraine created a new bullet that actually it's a 5.56 that goes out into 5 pieces, and so it's more like a shotgun spray or whatever. But it's
Oh,
not
the scatter arrow as a bullet?
Yeah, exactly. And it's not frangible. Like, it doesn't do it on impact. It actually does it the second it leaves the barrel. And then
So
so you
it's
actually
a
have
shot.
high projectile.
That's
Yeah.
what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
Like,
And
you
then so
shoot
there's
it, and
there's
then
a
it
bunch of stuff. Yeah. It's creepy. It's fucking impersonal. It's just weird. And like the way I was watching this thing about one of these drone operators, and they're like, yeah, we call them they call them pigs. They have to dehumanize them because otherwise you realize what you're doing every day, which is flying fucking robots into, humans. And that's like, that does things to you as a person, but it's war and they're in your country and so on and so forth. I'm not going to talk about the politics of that, but it's fucking wild because the whole point of this shit is like the further away you are, the more war gets developed, the further you are and the away you are from whoever you are killing, the more impersonal it gets. So it starts with swords or like rocks and knives and swords, and then we eventually like start to get to bows, and then we have stuff like artillery and tanks, and then now we have missiles and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's the more removed you are. But when you're watching it fucking HD on a tablet in your lap and you're flying it into a guy and then he's waving at you like, please don't drop a grenade on me, like that's something completely fucking different. I'm not saying that there's not been different levels of inhumanity and war stuff like that, and some of the shit like in Verdun and World War One is so insanely intense. It's like, can you really compare that to drone shit? But I don't know. The whole thing I just find insanely creepy and weird.
It is
Definitely.
cool when you see them used for like drone shows or like kind of like in a
Have
way.
you seen like the
fireworks.
drone racing leagues and stuff like that? That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I remember the one thing I didn't see is like Korea used the drones for like their New Year's thing, and they made a dragon out of drones.
Yeah, way cool.
Yeah,
I just
but I
We
find
was
them
take all this
using them to
bullshit
kill
and we
people.
weaponize it.
Well,
Yeah.
it's I know what movie to tie what your statement to there. I believe it was 94. Denzel Washington, Gene Hackman, Crimson Tide.
Yes.
Oh, goddamn, that's a good movie.
One of the major speeches in there that Hackman gives to Washington in there is, "We can't let them think about what they're doing." When he was referring to the crew, we're asking them to do some of the worst stuff in humanity because they were on a nuclear submarine that was going to make a preemptive strike, was the plot of the movie. And it's like, we cannot let the weapons operators realize that with a turn of the key, they will kill 8 million people. They cannot think about that, or they will not do it.
Yeah. I think that's
Yep.
another good thing that makes a really good movie is, does the message stick with you afterwards?
Yeah.
Like the whole idea of what the film's trying to get across, does it stick with you afterwards? Like, does it make
even
you
if that thought is that was fun, I think that qualifies. If a movie's like, you're coming here to have a great time, and you did, and you come out of the movie theater like that was fun. I think that because some movies are made just for that, they're made just to have fun, which I love. I mean, what do you think the Goonies is? It's just to have fun. Like there's lots of movies that are made for that. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't have to have a hard-hitting message, but there are ones that are like have a really great message. Like, I don't know, Alien in space, no one can hear you say no. I mean, no one can hear you scream. Like, it's a great movie, and it's dark. I'll bring up Alien. Just weaving in a stupid joke. But no, like, as far as like movies that actually have, like, there's some movies that come out and you're like, okay, the whole point of this thing is the message that they're trying to pitch to me. But I don't know, some of them are really well done. I really like Schindler's List, and that's a heavy message movie. I mean, that movie's heavy on humanity. Like, that's the whole point of it.
Actually,
love that movie.
Speaking of Crimson Tide, I'm gonna have to admit that I'm the odd man out here because I haven't seen Crimson Tide myself.
Oh, it's great.
I know that Denzel's in it, and it's definitely a movie I gotta throw into the list as well. Mainly because
Kreese.
it was directed by
Now we have 6 people
Tony
here.
Scott. Hey, Kreese, what's up?
Go ahead. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing?
Just about 2
I
hours
know
in,
that-
we have a 6th player.
I know
Okay.
that Crimson Tide was directed by Tony Scott, and I absolutely love some of the films that he makes, like Deja Vu and Man on Fire. He seems to like to work closely with Denzel, and I can
Crimson
understand
Tide
why,
is
because he's a
amazing.
phenomenal actor. So Crimson Tide's definitely another movie I need to add on to that list.
That's a good
Yeah.
one, man.
Yeah, you definitely need to.
Silence the phone, set aside about 2.5 hours, and just sit there on a day you can focus and watch it.
Good character drama.
And
Good
it's one of those, you can blink and it's okay in that movie. Obviously, we have the option to pause now if you got to take a leak or anything else, but it's one of those to where it has an excellent cast even beyond Hackman and Washington. James Gandolfini's in it, which, frankly, I'm shocked they got him into a sub.
Jesus
That's
Christ, I
like
love
before he
Sub.
became Tony Soprano, right? Like that's like
Yes,
before
it is.
before like they noticed him. Whatever.
You can actually see some flashes of Tony Soprano in there. He'll be fun-loving, and he has that snap that he has when he's a mob boss in there, to where he's laughing, everything's all good, and then it goes 0 to 60 for him going psycho.
What the hell, Chrissy?
Yeah, and that scene of him eating prosciutto. Oh yeah. How could we forget?
Well, it's just like
fried meat. I love it.
when they're randomly like getting to the sub before they have basically their formation before it, and the one sailor bumps him, and then he asks him this off the wall question. Sailor doesn't know. Then wrong answer on your face. 25 push-ups. The guy does like 3 before he passes out because he's got all his gear on.
Yeah. Crimson Tide, Deja Vu, those movies are amazing, man. I got both of those on Blu-ray. Those things, like, Denzel's amazing. Like,
I'll watch Denzel in
I'm trying
anything.
to remember a film I saw a little while ago with 2 James Bond actors. I think one was Sean Connery. I think it was called like Sea Dogs or something. But it was essentially like a secret mission from World War II.
mm,
I'm trying to remember the name of it now. I'm trying to find it first off.
While you find that, let me just throw a little bit of lore about myself here, real quick. Speaking of James Gandolfini, actually, when I was around 7, 8 years old, my family and I went to the beach over here in New Jersey, where I live. We went to Seaside Heights, and we were just kind of, having a good time while we were there. And then when it was sunset, we just started walking the boardwalk, and the next thing you know, we actually ran into James Gandolfini. He was out there with his family as well, too, out there in Seaside. And we ended up taking a picture with him. It was really cool.
It wasn't his Gumar. It was actually his wife.
Yeah, I was going to say, James Gandolfini, like, I know there was the Jersey thing he had with the Sopranos, but he actually, like, lived it. You would see him on the sidelines at Rutgers games. And the guy loved New Jersey.
He was a full-blooded Jersey guy. He definitely was.
Yeah. But yeah, those years, like that, you're a Jersey guy, so you might remember the Greg Schiano years for Rutgers, where they were going like 10-3 for a couple years there. Yeah, he was there for that. He was there for the bad times too, though. He was Jersey through and through, no question.
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Like how Jack Nicholson was with the LA Lakers. Some of those guys are diehards.
Yeah. They love. He's definitely a hometown guy or whatever, which is nothing wrong with that.
I think it's great because it definitely sold the Tony Soprano character. Like,
if you've ever seen True Romance, he has a scene in that, and it's a particularly violent scene. I forget who. It might have been Tony Scott. I forget who directed that. The script is written by Tarantino. It stars oh my gosh, now I'm totally fading on his name. True Romance. Let me just pop this in. The old IMDb. It's 1993. Patricia Arquette and it was Tony Scott. Tony Scott is the one who directed this movie, but it was written by Quentin Tarantino. And James Gandolfini has a scene in this movie, and he's actually beating up Patricia Arquette, and he nearly beats her to death. And it's a really, really violent scene. And from what I understand, his role in that scene, because James Gandolfini he's a large man, or a large guy. He's very big. He's very imposing. And he is beating the shit out of this woman in a hotel room. And if I'm not mistaken, when they were casting The Sopranos, they were like, yeah, remember that scene where he like nearly beat that woman to death? I think he would be great to play Tony. It's just like, dude, getting typecast as a woman beater. It's like, Jesus.
He even said like there was times where like when he was on Sopranos, like he had to like walk away from the scene because it was like it was just too intense for him or whatever. Like he had to like calm himself down or whatever because he was like in the character way too much or whatever, where he actually had to like get some therapy because he was Tony Soprano for a minute.
I heard that like one of the things he did to inform his role was if he had to be particularly irritable on set that day for his role, which is funny because actors, it's like you don't want them to show up irritated, was he said that he would walk around. He said the 2 things that always put him in a bad mood so that he could play an whole awful character was he would put a rock in his shoe and walk around with it all day because he says that's piss off anybody. Good. And the second thing is just not get enough sleep. And he says just being like not having enough sleep and showing up on set, and he's like, it'll make you a mean motherfucker. And
that's commitment.
Oh, dude, can you imagine having to deal with that? And then he gave, from what I understand, with the last season, he gave up a huge portion of his money that he would have got playing
Yeah.
that role
He
to divvy up
was.
among the actors. He was a legit.
They even said, well, they said he just didn't do it in the last season. There was like times where like some of his co-stars were not getting enough like time on the show, and he just like subsidized their pay sometimes or whatever because he was making so much or whatever. So
Okay, I think I found the movie I was looking for. So
It is
it's called The
Yeah.
Sea Wolves.
the Seawolves.
A
This is this
1984
Connery movie.
film starring Gregory Peck, Roger Moore, and David Nevin. Based on the book The Boarding Party, and based on the... Where is it?
You know,
It was based on
you
a
said
raid
two Bond
from
guys.
World War II.
Roger Moore, definitely. Gregory Peck, not a bad guy to mistake for Bond. He could have done it
Yeah,
easily.
dude, Gregory Peck was the fucking man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Operation Creek. So the movie The Sea Wolves is based on the book The Boarding Party, which is based on the secret mission during World War II called Operation Creek. And it's from
That's
the
what's
team
up.
who made the movie Wild Geese.
Interesting.
I never heard of that movie.
I saw it a couple of years ago, probably, and it was a really good movie.
Well, can we ask Kreese? Because all of us kind of answered this when we first started. Was like what the whole question of this is what makes a good movie. So I guess what, in your opinion, or do you have a favorite movie, or is there something in particular that you really like that a movie can like that certain movies do? Like what?
I mean,
Tell us what your
damn,
favorites are.
that's a loaded question, man. What
Yeah,
makes a good
really.
movie?
Dude, we all had to answer it. I waited till
It's
last.
the-
I felt like an asshole.
It's the okay. So like, what makes? Well, of course, it goes based off the story. Like I think that's the most general answer. Is like the story. It's man. It's always about the story, man, and and like something that you can relate with. It doesn't matter what you look like or where you come from. Like, can you relate with this character? Can you, or even if you don't relate with this character, you could just learn something new about the character. I mean, one of my favorite movies. Got so many.
I know.
You know what? You know what?
That was
I'll go really classic. I'm gonna go back to Lion King. I love that movie. Like,
Fuck yeah.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Hell
Okay.
yeah.
All
Yeah,
I'm
right.
not
like,
the only
let's
one
keep
who
it-
loves
let's
Disney
go-
movies.
it's like
At least
okay,
good Disney
like-
movies.
we're gonna go back to the 90s. So, like, let's go back to the Magical Kingdom when it was actually good and like the
Hell
rent
yeah.
wasn't due.
It was the start of the Disney Renaissance. That's what was going on at the
The
time.
Disney rent. No.
Disney
Actually,
Animation
I got
Renaissance.
I got three movies from the Disney Renaissance that are truly close to my heart. Is The Lion King, Goofy movie, and Mulan. Those three right there.
Mulan
Bangers.
definitely is-
Those three, like, this is back then in the 90s where like they respect their fatherhood or whatever. Like,
Eye to Eye
like
from the Goofy movie is still in my head.
the Goofy movie, especially with the Goofy movie, like now as a grown man or whatever, it makes me appreciate my father even more. Cause like, like if you had even a father figure in your life, you were Max at one point. You was that kid. You were like ignorant. You was an asshole. Like you didn't appreciate the things or whatever that your dad or your mom did for you and everything. But in this case, for your father, all Goofy wanted was a relationship with his son. And his son was just trying to grow up and get away from him, but ended up like, he appreciates his dad because his dad would do anything for him or whatever. And that's why I love that movie.
Yeah.
Same thing with Lion.
For a movie that's supposed to
great
be
answer.
a Disney comedy, it has some of the most heartfelt scenes, I think, of any movie in that time period.
But Tobias, you
Like,
want to
just
know
the
what's
talk
even
with
great
him
about
with,
you want
Pete and Goofy
wanna know what's
in a
even-
hot tub talking about their kids.
Yeah, you want to know what's the great part about that movie is even though Max lied to Goofy Goofy was still his number one fan. He like got him into the concert. He said like, man, we're gonna get you inside that concert, so I'll make my son look good in front of that girl. I'm like, yo,
Yeah, he's like, I will
that's
help you.
Yeah.
If you had just told me this earlier, I would have been all in from the start.
Oh,
that's
man.
what I'm saying. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, the same thing with Lion King. It's a different approach on fatherhood. It's like
So
your
the
dad
Lion
is
King is
giving
Hamlet
you all
the
the tools.
Lion.
It's like your dad is giving you the tools to like have responsibility or whatever. Like, you know, I'm not always gonna be here, but don't forget where you came from. Don't forget about me and your mother who made you that man or whatever. Like that. That's
Yeah.
what I love about that.
Oh shit, dude.
And as far as Mulan, what I love about that movie is it's about perseverance and willing to like you'll do anything for your parents because you want to give back to your parents or whatever. Like they did so much for you. I'm gonna do something for you or
I'm
whatever.
gonna
So
keep you
you know,
alive by going to war in your place.
yeah, I'm gonna keep you alive and
I
going
mean,
by
that's
war.
literally
And
like
this
probably
was
one of the
back
highest
then
forms
where
you
like
can
you can have girl like male like us as males or whatever. We can like watch a girl character and still be inspired by that. Like
Because she kicked
Mulan,
ass.
Okay, so not only was
Impossible. Like those two Disney character woman characters, I love those two because you know they necessarily weren't girl bosses, but they also didn't like
We got
disparage
to
their male
watch them
counterparts.
grow into what they
so-
became.
Yeah.
They
so
were
centering
girl
on
bosses
characters-
off the bat. They were
centering on-
Yeah.
clumsy. They were kind of like
Right.
failing.
They were still teenagers.
Yeah.
However.
No, here's the thing: they were human.
Yeah.
They were human
Yeah.
just like us. They had their
Yeah.
own flaws, but they also had their own ambitions. They had their
Yeah.
own goals. With the case of Mulan, what she put above everything else was family, and she
Yeah.
saw that her father was aging, so she sure as hell did not want him to have to go out and fight for the emperor. Yes, it's a noble
Yeah.
cause, but she
Yeah.
knew that if her father went out, he wasn't
Mhm.
coming back. So she was
Yeah.
willing to make the sacrifice and actually take his place to
Like,
fight
literally,
for the emperor.
She could have died by the Chinese military. Like, you know, there ain't no way no
She
woman
almost
is gonna
did.
be.
It's not. It's so it wasn't
Yes.
even the Huns. It's her own
Yeah.
people that could have killed her because of this, but she was
Yeah.
willing to do it.
And that movie has
Yeah.
probably one of the best 180 scenes in terms of tone.
Yeah.
Like when they're
Yeah.
marching,
That's
when
the
they go
reason
into the
that's-
village, they're all
that's-
singing about like, "Oh, I'm gonna marry this girl when I get back," and then they get to the burned down
Yes.
village.
It's like it just was so
And it just
quiet.
Yeah.
You like,
stops.
yo,
It's like
That
that
is
is
my
the
favorite-
best
God, this
tone
is a
of
war
whiplash
movie.
I've ever seen.
it's like this
Dude,
is a war
that's-
movie.
Okay,
The
can I
reason
talk
that's
about
my
100?
favorite princess movie,
Oh, go ahead.
if you want to call it princess movie.
I don't really know if it is a princess because
It's
she
not-
never.
It's not
hates the
technically a
royal
princess.
princess woman.
I would call it a warrior.
It's a warrior movie to me.
Yeah, because she's not a princess. She technically is at the start, but then she is one of the prince. I guess someone that could be a princess.
She's
Princess
a higher
Yeah.
up. She's of the noble house. I think is.
She
where
was
she
in
came.
contention to be a princess, but then decided, then got rejected, and then she became a warrior instead.
It's sort of like Megara, like in Hercules. She's not technically a princess, but you know, she kind of.
Kind of
Yeah.
is.
What was you gonna
Unofficial-
say, man? Like,
unofficially.
somebody was gonna say something.
What were you gonna
Red,
say,
I
Red?
think you
Something
had
about
some.
100 something.
100 something.
That's what he said.
No, I was just kind of struck by that answer that you gave about the fatherhood angle of that, and it was making me think of the first movie that you had mentioned, but it just was making me think about like fatherhood as it's displayed in certain movies, and one
Yeah.
that immediately came to mind was The Road. You seen that with Viggo Mortensen?
Oh
It's a
yeah.
post-apocalyptic
Road.
movie. Yeah, it's oh my god,
Okay.
it's extremely
I'd check that
intense
one
and
out.
bleak. It's okay.
Have you read
so
the book?
Right.
I
So
read the book.
it was originally a book written by Cormac McCarthy.
Cormac McCarthy,
He's
yeah.
very well known for writing a lot of hard, you could almost say disturbing books, but a lot of them are about like the human condition and human
Yep.
nature. Another popular one he's known for is Blood Meridian, which is almost
Oh, God,
impossible. It's almost impossible to put into film just because of how just brutal and
gnarly it
unrelenting it is.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if you've seen Bone
I mean,
Tomahawk, I
Wendigoon
think
did like a
Bone-
5-hour video talking about that one. Just the
That's
one.
right. Yes. But The Road is a post-apocalyptic film that Red was talking about before,
Mm.
about a father and his son having survived said apocalypse, and now they're living in this absolutely hellish world, almost hopeless, you could say, trying to navigate through cannibals, navigating through the dangerous weather and environment that they live in now, and navigating through
So,
other things like starvation and just other.
so was this like Walking Dead before Walking Dead, basically?
Well,
I
without
No,
would say
zombies,
that
yeah.
this thing puts Walking Dead to absolute shame
it's
because
so
it's definitely a lot
yeah.
harder hitting. Go ahead,
The
Red.
everywhere, like the entire environment is poisoned, and it has some really really bleak imagery, and there's like nothing, and the this world that they're, it's basically like a road trip movie, only it's on foot the entire time, and he is his
So it's a hiking
boy is
movie.
born. Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, his boy was born after whatever had happened, and I'm not sure that they even say exactly what happened. But everything's poisoned and awful. And like they find a soda in a place, and he gives it to his son, and his son's like, "Ooh, this is really good," because he's never had one before. And then his son
Yeah.
offers to share it with him, and as a father, he just is like, "No." Like let him have it. And there's a, like, the movie opens up and you're just listening to like soft breathing, and he has
Yeah.
his hand on his son's chest, and he's just
Yeah.
listening to his son breathing while he's asleep. And it's like, I believe the implication is like, as long as his son is okay, then everything's fine. And it's like that's what
Yeah.
he's here for. He's just to deliver his son into the
Yeah.
future, sort of thing. And it is such a powerful movie when it comes to fatherhood.
Well, that's
because of
just the
what they
thing
did.
with nowadays movies. Like, they just frown upon fatherhood. Like, it doesn't matter if it's like the father and the daughter, or well, especially the son and the father, or whatever. Like, for some reason, it's like taboo to even do that, or whatever. It's like it always got to. And to be frank, we all love our mothers, we all love our mothers and everything, and they do a whole bunch for things for us that they try to do. They give us the best nurturing experience, but we need to get back those movies where you have your father figures to tell you how to be a man, tell you like how to take care of your future family, if you
The
want to
guiding
even do that.
principles of
However.
manhood.
Modern
Yeah,
Hollywood
principles of
seems to
manhood.
take an active approach in trying to demonize fatherhood and trying to demonize stories that involve, manhood and things like that. They take an active approach to trying to demonize all of those kinds of things.
Yeah.
I
So
would
What
say they
about the
just
way
have.
that
I would say
Mufasa
they
talked
just
to
have an
Simba?
active approach and just demonizing parents in general.
so
Even though
so
it's more fathers, but they just demonize family and parents in general.
but that's why I'm a little interested. I don't mean to put a little bit of a superhero spin to it. That's why I'm a sort of interested in the Batman Brave and the Bold, on how James Gunn is gonna do the father and son aspect with Batman and Robin's Damian Wayne and everything. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I'm a little interested in that, on how he's gonna do it. Like, go
If
ahead,
they're gonna
Ebola. What
put
you been
Damian
say?
Wayne in there, then
Uh,
are they just gonna skip all the other Robins before him?
Well, it's
Damian
already
Wayne's his
established.
favorite Robin, and so
Yeah,
yes, they're skipping them.
This
but
DC
it's already
universe is
established
already
universe.
established. Yeah,
Yeah, the universe is already established, so like they can always do like TV shows and spin-offs or whatever with the
the
Bat
assumption
Family.
the assumption is
But
is that like this universe has already been going on and like these heroes have already
yeah,
existed, so that's why they're
it's
putting Damian
Then
Wayne
why did
in
they start
already.
off with
the
a
way.
Superman origin film?
Well, the
Well,
way
It
the
was
way I see it is, with like just like keeping it on the Bat Family, and then we could go on to the Superman thing. The way I see it is, the way I believe what's gonna happen is, I think like the Bat Family was like at one like was at together at one time, but Bruce has his attitude on the way he does things. Like, I think they all break up, but I think it's like Damien that's gonna bring the family back together. That's at least how I think it's gonna happen. However, in my honest opinion, however.
Yeah, isn't like a lot of like how Damien acts also kind of in response to, one, him being raised by the League of Shadows,
Yep.
and two, the fact that Batman has
Mhm.
literally already lost a Robin to death, with being Jason Todd by
Yeah.
that point,
right.
who's
Yeah.
come back. I don't know if he came back as Red Hood at that point.
Most likely mostly likely they already have a Red Hood, they already have Tim Drake, and they already have Dick Grayson as Robin. So like I think I think Damian is going to bring the family back on, like, yo, hey, like we're stronger together than us being apart type of thing. Cause you gotta remember, Damian has Bruce and Talia's like attitude, and then he got topped by Ra's al Ghul. So the kid is kind of like twisted in the head, and that's why I always kind of always give Damian grace or whatever, because I know a lot of people don't like Damian or whatever because they think he's selfish and spoiled and everything. But I'm just gonna be quite frank, like, I mean, he's a kid. Like, we were all kind of like that when we were first growing
We
up
all
or
are
whatever.
Bloodthirsty.
Yeah, it's like,
Canonically, what age is he supposed to be,
I
Kreese?
think
Like
14.
10, 11?
about 9, 10, 11 or whatever.
Yeah, he is the youngest Robin out of all of them. So he's
Yeah,
Yeah,
but he
essentially a
like
kid
fights like an
when he's
assassin. Like,
Robin.
he fights like a grown man. Like,
Right.
he can
No,
kill.
yeah,
Well,
of course.
I know that, but I'm saying, think about
Yeah.
when you were 9, 10, or 11.
Yeah.
I was a little asshole back then.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I keep on trying to tell people,
That's what you have
like,
to
you
look
know,
forward
like
to,
a,
Red.
like
Hey, I've
For
always heard
years.
girls are girls, but boys are monsters.
Well-
I'm just talking about like the comic book fans and like the people that watch the new 52 movies. Like, they were saying that they hate Damian so much because he's selfish and he's spoiled and everything. But I'm just saying, like, dude, you gotta remember, he's being like an actual kid. You gotta see where he's coming from. Like,
Everyone
he never
hated
had.
New 52 anyway.
What's up?
Everyone hated the New 52 for the most part anyway.
Yeah, everyone hated the new 52, but I think Damian as a character ain't bad because, like, you know, he like this is what I'm talking about. It goes back to that fatherhood of Batman is like saying, like, okay, I was good with Dick Grayson, I failed Jason Todd. Tim brought me back to being Batman. Now this is my chance to like bond with my son, like,
Yeah, be a
teach him the
bat dad.
right way or whatever. Like, you know, you don't have to kill to get your way or whatever type of thing.
Yeah,
So
it's
that's
kind of
why
like
I'm a
going
little
against the
interested.
whole assassin part of the League of Shadows.
Yeah, he has
Like,
to.
I'm
he has to,
Batman,
like,
I try
yeah.
not to kill people unless absolutely 100% necessary.
Yeah,
Which a lot of people still don't remember about Batman.
yeah.
Like, oh, Batman never kills people. Like, did you read any of the originals? He used to
Did
carry
you
a fucking
read?
handgun.
Do you know how to read?
Like, have you read The Dark Knight Returns?
No. Dude, the Dark
So,
Knight Returns.
have you read that Dark Knight Returns? I mean, Frank Miller was like
Red
trying
Hat.
to
Dude, the
kill
Joker.
Superman.
The Joker breaks his own fucking neck in that book because Batman won't kill him, and he's holding him, and then he ends up breaking his back and paralyzing him from the neck down. So what does the Joker do? He fucking breaks his own neck with his own willpower. Think that you could physiologically do that? I don't know that you
Yeah.
could actually turn your own head to paralyze yourself.
That's
But that's what
like
he-
Batman's villains killing themselves is like Superman can't stopping his father from having the heart attack. Like, that breaks Bruce every single time when he can't save anybody.
Yeah, dude, and I was just like completely blown away by that. It's like, okay, Bat, fine. If I'm not allowed to have fun anymore because you are going to be wanted for my murder. It's like his
Yeah.
final thought. Dude, that's
Well, isn't the
Frank
whole point
Miller,
at
you're
the
the
end
man.
of that, like, it's kind of mysterious as to what exactly happens? Because it's the Joker looks like he's snapping his own neck, but the dialogue box is gray like all of Batman's dialogue.
Are we talking about the Dark
Yeah.
Knight Returns, or are you
That's
talking
what I
about?
was thinking, because that
Yeah, I
is
was
what
thinking
I mean,
so.
you got the
remember
killing,
seeing that scene
you got the
happen.
killing joke too, or whatever. Which
Yeah,
I mean
that
that movie. Don't
Yeah,
like the
that
movie,
one-
but the comic book is good. I like the comic book or whatever. But
comic
the
book's
movie's
like 63 pages. It's not very
yeah,
long.
the comic book is good, but the movie just like they added way too much lore up in there that just did not make sense. I didn't like.
I haven't
it.
watched the movie. Wild. Not all of them can be Mask of the Phantasm.
Yeah,
Yes,
Nope.
that
the
was a
goat.
good Batman movie.
That was a goat. That's the goat movie right there when
Yeah,
it comes to animation, right there, man. Like, you know,
Hell,
Well, when it comes to
Oh,
Western
I got-
animation, yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like, I have Master of the this is how big of a Master of Phantasm I had. I had the VHS I had the
Me too.
DVD, I have the Blu-ray, and I have the 4K or whatever. I need to get the
okay.
laser disc or whatever. I need to get the laser disc, and then I got
don't even know where you
Every
get
edition.
Laserdisc at this point.
Oh,
Like,
not
I
to
gotta
play
get the
it. He wants
Betamax.
it just to have it.
Gonna get my Betamax version of it. You're gonna have it.
Betamax, man.
I get a BitTorrent version. Just
Yeah,
to have.
you missed the Akira and Ghost in the Shell conversation that happened earlier.
Right? Yeah,
Hey,
yeah.
you know, there's always next time. I'll probably pop in the next time you have one of these, and we can talk about. We can actually start with that one.
That will
Kreese
probably
is
be
signing up
either
for the,
very,
all the
very end of
conversations.
August or beginning of September. Because remember, I'm not going to be here through most of August. I will be out of the country.
These,
Okay.
Yeah,
these,
Kreese is
Starting
signing up
the
for the
4th, I will
R34 Fireside Chat.
Yeah.
these videos tend to like go on long enough that sometimes we end up tangenting out to different
Right
like,
back
topics
into it.
sometimes.
Yeah,
And then
I mean,
sometimes
the
we
last
get
one was
into-
just
you
about
never
2
know.
hours. This one's running about 2 hours, 20 minutes. I'm actually really proud of how
yeah.
long these are getting, because it means we're having much more fun conversation.
I think there was a solid 20 to 30 minutes where we were having discussions about drone warfare. So
Yeah.
It did last a minute.
It did last
But
for a while.
saying that, we did wrap it in a bow, and that's what led into the James Gandolfini because bringing up Crimson Tide.
That's
Oh,
right.
hell
Oh,
Yeah.
Crimson Tide is just so good, man. It's a freaking amazing movie.
Yeah.
And
Well,
that's,
the idea being
That's
that
what I really
one,
hope these become. Is like, I really hope these kind of become. I don't care how long they are. I just want everybody to have fun talking about it.
Yeah.
Make me.
And that's like the
Yeah.
main thing I'm worried about with these. Is I want it to be entertaining. I want everyone to have fun. So I don't care if it's 40 minutes. I don't care if it's 4 hours. I just want people to have fun talking.
Yeah, hell yeah.
you got to edit this thing, man. You might want to care if it's 4 hours.
Now, these super long ones, I'm probably only going to cut out like a little bit of dead air at the beginning and the end. I'll just kind of like tidy them up a little bit at the beginning and end and call it there. Because the
Yeah,
entire middle
yeah.
part, I mean, we are literally just stream of thought going.
Yeah.
Well, and the more of these you do with a group of people, the more you learn, hey, he's speaking. I'll get the moment to speak in a minute. Sometimes
Yeah.
you just got to bite your tongue.
Yeah. And like, we'll figure it out as we go. I mean, this is only like the 7th episode in total, so. I mean,
I'll
do one
appear
a
on episode 8. I'll appear on episode 8. Like, just like
No
let me
worries.
know when you do it again or whatever. Like, I'll come in earlier or whatever.
Yeah, this is going to be episode number 7 according to my podcast file. Which
Okay.
I have
Cool.
all my title screen thumbnail things. It's just title screen and then number. So I can kind of keep track that way. But
So
like I
definitely
said, I
next
won't
time-
be here in
sure.
August. I'll be going from New York to Iceland on a cruise. So I won't
Okay.
exactly have stable internet.
That's a hell of a cruise.
Hey man,
Well,
you're
that's
getting
all
up out of California. You're
No,
getting out of
he's
California.
lying his ass off. He's on the run from the law. Don't motherfucker pull the wool over
Even
your
though-
eyes.
Forget that. What he's actually doing is breaking into the studio to steal Zootopia 2.
They'll never catch it.
Yeah.
They'll never know.
They'll
Remember,
never
I-
expect me to go to Iceland with it.
He's looking for the unrated
Yeah.
cut that they made with all the extra content.
I'm
all that
looking for the
extra rules,
butthole version of
stuff.
Cats.
Oh, God.
The butthole cut.
Okay.
I need the butthole cut.
Oh man.
Yeah, if anyone knows that joke here besides Red, I'll be surprised. It's an old YMS joke.
Oh my!
That when they
That's
filmed
crazy.
Cats, they made a version with buttholes because cats are always showing them.
I remember reading the articles about it. Yep.
I only know about it because what's his name? Made fun of them at the Golden Globes for it. What's his name?
Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, Ricky Gervais. Like,
Oh, my
I don't
Okay,
know.
so
what
I will
these
not be here
games-
next month, so there's going to be a break between it. But I get back in like really late August, so I'm not sure if I can set something up. I'll try to. If I have time, I'll try to set something up.
dude.
bit.
So
For sure.
hopefully we'll have something. And again, I want to thank all of you guys for popping in and having fun conversation.
Of course.
Oh, no problem, dude.
Of course.
Yep.
100%.
Because
man.
at 2 hours and 23 minutes, I think we're going to start wrapping it up right about now. But like I said, I'm just glad everyone has a good time. That's all I care about. Like, even with me and Red streaming, I mean, we don't get that many views. I'm just happy anybody shows up.
Yeah. Why
I
anybody
feel
would
the same
want
way
to
about my own
see on me.
streams.
Yeah, man. It's
I mean,
just,
if you're not
I mean,
if you're not having fun, then what's the point?
Exactly.
yeah, I was gonna
Like, I
tell
don't
you
care if
three
I
things.
get 20 views, or I think Sophie actually has it on record that my highest amount of views is like 131 at once.
You
Nice.
got rated.
All right.
And no, I actually think I did get rated because I think Sophie was talking about it over in the G&G Discord and saying, "Hey, come look at Ryan's favorite furry play games."
Oh, I think part of it. I believe GCA does rate out to you because you stream Wednesdays.
Yeah, I try to.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like I said, I'm always
Yeah.
just happy to have anybody show up. So anybody
Yeah.
listening, I'm really thankful to you guys too. I'm thankful to everybody joining me. Really thankful to
I
the
mean-
GCA and to the homies for always having my back and always being around to help
Oh,
support
no problem,
stuff.
dude.
You guys at home
I
are
mean,
the real
it's the three things that Critical Drinker told me, man. And then, like, I'll let you close it out, Tobias. It's like, number one, have fun. Number two, don't worry about your haters. And number three, always give back to the little guy. That's the three things that man told me when I was like starting out. So, hey, I don't
Ain't
mind
going for
helping
no
out any of my peers that are trying to get on the startup because we're all in this thing together or whatever.
Yeah, we're all trying to survive on this crazy thing called the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
The
that
real
you've
treasure
done
is the
it.
friendship you made along the way, and all the money.
Oh, boy.
Oh yes. That actually goes back to one of my favorite movie quotes. I don't know if we want to go out with that, but anyone familiar with The Bandit, the Burt Reynolds movie?
Yes.
Smokey and the Bandit?
Bandit.
Yeah.
Yep, Smokey and the Bandit. They established the motivation early on, so to speak. Burt Reynolds goes to his buddy Jerry Reed, who is the snowman, Cletus Snow in that movie, who ends up driving the truck for it. Cletus says to Burt Reynolds there, which I don't actually remember his name other than the Bandit. He probably has one, but I can't remember at the moment. He's like, Bandit, why are we doing this? Well, we're doing it for the money, for the glory, for the fun, and for the good old American way. But mostly for the money.
That was all. That reminds me of the Spaceballs quote. Barf, we're not doing this for money. We're doing it for a shitload of money.
Man.
You're right. And when you're right, you're right. And you're always right.
All I'm just gonna say is I can't wait until the Spaceball 2's popcorn bucket. It's
That's
probably
gonna
gonna
be
be a
interesting.
normal
Oh,
bucket.
God. That should actually
That's
be
gonna be a
That
wild.
normal
literally just
bucket,
needs
I'm
to be a
guaranteeing
tin
you.
bucket that just says Spaceballs the bucket.
Yeah, there's definitely going to be one that's just black and white and just says Spaceballs, the popcorn bucket on it.
Or no,
And that
it's gonna-
thing is going to
Vatlaaw, it's gonna
sell.
give you the. It's gonna give you that They're gonna give you the classic red and white lines popcorn. It says popcorn bucket.
Yes.
What if the
it's gonna be so good.
what if the Spaceballs popcorn bucket is just the old classic popcorn bucket that's just, like where it looks like the classic popcorn bucket you used
It's
to
red
get?
and white stripes.
Yes.
Yeah, the red and white
It says
stripes.
it says
Oh.
popcorn on the front.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's-
If I
And yet
recall,
it
in the
will
first
still
movie, don't
sell
they
out.
actually have a prop like that? In Spaceballs, they actually have a prop that says like Spaceballs the popcorn bucket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My only question is, will it be as multifaceted as the Dune popcorn bucket?
I don't think
Oh, I see what you mean.
I'd be
Dude,
surprised
that
if
Doom
it was
popcorn bucket, that Doom popcorn bucket, like, was sus, man. That thing was sus.
Oh, you want to look? You want to talk
I've
about
seen
sus?
some
Like,
things,
I know
and
the
I'm
Dune
pretty sure even
popcorn
Bad
bucket
Dragon
was
wouldn't make something
something.
that exposing.
The
That
Deadpool
was-
Wolverine popcorn buckets. They just
Oh,
decided let's
yeah,
just
that
go with
one
it.
was-
It's not even
Yeah.
suggestive anymore. We all know how you fucks think. So once you're done eating your popcorn, go home, light some candles. There you go. Have a good time.
That
be fair-
reminds me of. I don't
to be
know if
fair,
anyone
Ronan,
besides
that-
Red knows about the show Hell of a Boss.
Oh God, no, I've heard of it. I just haven't seen it.
But
I haven't
it's like
watched
the
it, but I
second
intend to.
episode has them talking about going up to the human world for a little while to go do something, and Luna's like, well, why can't I just go as my own form? And it's like, You know the kind of freaks that drool over you up there, and then they all look at the camera.
Uh,
To be fair, that
both
goes
the
along
same.
with the statement I was going to make. They understood the assignment.
Oh, definitely.
you goodness.
There you go.
All right, so with that fun imagery, popcorn buckets and things not being used properly, I think we'll call that another successful episode. At probably this is the second longest episode now at 2:30. So yeah, I'll probably just cut out some dead air. It'll probably cut down by like 1 or 2 minutes, like the last one.
Right.
But again, I want to thank
There's not
everybody
wrong.
for showing up. Kreese, thanks for popping in late. Doesn't matter. I'm just glad you're here.
Oh, no problem, man. Anytime to help you guys out.
Anything you guys want to plug while you're here?
Well,
Um,
the
Like, I know
Saska
most of you have your own
sisters.
channels.
yes, Kreese, you plug your thing first. It's real big.
Well, it's me and Ebola.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We got the Saska sisters coming on July the 25th. We're
day
gonna
before
do
Wednesday.
our it's gonna be for the homies. July 25th. Usual time that we have on the Thursday show. 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. So yeah, we're gonna have the sisters on there
So it'll be 6
for an
o'clock
hour
Pacific.
and 30 minutes. Yeah, hour and 30 minutes, and we're just gonna have fun, man. They're excited. They text me. They're happy. They're ready for it. So
It's
Nice.
gonna be
Wait,
real
pause.
good. It's gonna be fun to watch. So me, I got a YouTube channel and a Kick channel as well. I'm still streaming Stellar Blade. Unfortunately, my scheduling's really screwed up because I also got some like IRL stuff that I need to take care of. But anyways, I'm trying to make sure that I can balance that and also finish up this stream with Stellar Blade. I'm
Now, the
definitely
real
gonna
question
go
is,
ahead
have
and
you
stream
modded
tomorrow.
Stellar Blade?
So, like I said before, haven't modded it on the PS5 because obviously I can't. I have been modding it on my personal PC playthrough though, and let's just say Hayden might not like some of the mods I'm doing because it's definitely putting a lot more meat on my girl Eve. Oh, man. But yes, I'll be doing another stream of Stellar Blade tomorrow at around 6 p.m. Eastern. That'll be 7 p.m. Central. So if anybody's interested, y'all can go and check it out on my channel.
All right, and me and Red are probably going to be streaming Wednesday as usual. Not sure what we'll play.
I don't know, probably Hunt Showdown and get our asses kicked over and over and over again. But it's fun. We have a great time.
Yeah,
Or watch me have
I'm thinking either
mental
Hunt,
breakdown. That's great
Helldivers,
fun.
or Dark Tide, because we're still getting you into that.
Yeah.
If you're doing
40K.
Dark Side again, I'm more than happy to help Red show the ropes once more.
Oh, I
Yes,
think we should show him
please.
half the mode.
Tobias, I got a bit of a question here.
Yep.
Y'all are shouting out stuff for like this week. When's this actually going to drop?
Probably Monday. It'll probably be
Oh,
either
so
Monday night or Tuesday night.
okay, so it will be timely. I was like,
Yeah,
doesn't
it's
it
gonna
take
be
a little while
timely.
to edit these things? I was like,
Yeah,
they're
like
going
I
to
said,
drop the
I do
stuff
like
that has
the
already
basic minimum
happened.
editing. I cut out dead air
All
and I
right.
make a thumbnail and then I just put it up. I'm not professional. I don't get paid enough
Does
to
a
be
red
professional.
free? Does a red free?
Well, I thought last time that I was on here, it took like a week to drop, and I was like, they will be dropping stuff that will have already happened.
Nah, we're not going to pull the Nintendo version of dropping stuff.
All right.
I'm going to try and get this up by at least Monday or Tuesday night. So I usually try to do that with these. I want to make sure that I have a little bit of editing just to kind of clean things up just a bit. But I'm not going to do like super studio professional editing mode kind of thing where it's like super well done. I'm just going to try and cut some dead air in there.
Tobias, is the recording over?
Not quite yet. Let me
Okay,
wrap it up here.
I was just
Go ahead, Ralph.
Yeah, if everyone wants to say their names again, I'm Tobias.
I'm Red.
The
I'm
Crusader.
Kreese.
And I guess I'm last, but I am Vatlaaw, and I appreciate you all.
And
All
hopefully, hopefully everyone enjoys this episode. If we want audience participation, put down your favorite movies or just say hi. That actually, apparently, it helps with the algorithm. Even if you just say hi or something, it shows up a little bit more. I'm not entirely certain how the algorithm works.
Yeah.
I'm not
you
gonna
can even
pretend
say
I know.
fart in your general direction. That would be
Exactly.
hilarious, and I would greatly appreciate it.
But hopefully, we will talk to all of you guys later. Take care, everybody.
Thanks.
Peace out.